Прикинь, домой приходишь, так дверь откроешь, ты чел стоит и так. Распил тебя, блядь. Icebox split. Так будет с каждым. Да не, у меня с ними личные счеты были. Бля, ебать у меня тут видосов. У нас же вообще раунды с КС.
Чё покал?
Там Dark and Darker есть.
Ну и чё?
Го поиграем сегодня. На.
И чё это, блядь?
Ну вот так, а то это нельзя говорить на Твиче.
Не знаю, пойду ли я. Или
А
не
чё?
пойду ли я. Падл.
Чё, башка? 5 дней всего будет.
Да похуй.
Падл, чё говорит?
Да, выйдет, поиграем.
Что там скорость не радует, блядь. Он еле качается, я хуй знает. Бля, какой же урил тут продакшн охуевший. Бля, это просто охуительно. Бля, что за треки охуенные? Не, ревут это просто батьки ебаные. Это просто батьки, это просто батьки.
Well, it's Giants versus BBL. We already spoke about how important this matchup is in the context of making playoffs. It does feel, though, if BBL cannot start their redemption journey today, Vincent, their chance
Ебать
to
там
make
народу.
playoffs dwindles by quite a lot.
And would quite be a loss for our league if you ask me, because everyone was hyping this up to be such a good Turkish team that we would see. The question that you have raised there earlier about the age it changes and considering do you really want to have the Kushner on that Omen, is that the reasonable thing? It is something that we really need to take a look at in his veto, because the same thing happened obviously with Giants, right? They had this composition they had against Fnatic that didn't work.
Should
Didn't
default the
move well,
Giants.
Sage back in. Do we once more see adjustments is the question.
I think that this year the level just keeps going up. I don't want this to be a year like 2022 where we kept making excuses for BBL not getting the wins. We need to see them in an international stage.
Да, бро, мы уже поняли.
Getting
Что
playoffs.
шаришь в
It
ставках?
needs to start with getting wins. I don't know what's going to happen with the
Может, ты
compositions, with
ждешь.
the maps. Definitely, if there's something, if they want to keep going with that double controller here on Icebox, it's something that they need to perfection.
Well, all I'm going to say is that in that huddle, Kute looked so focused. He had his eyes shut. I don't know if he's already doing his Omen kind of paranoia practice in his head. But like you said, that was the surprise for us last time. I wonder if they're going to change.
Аслан Машадов.
The most important thing for me when I talk about individuals is that Brave needs to step up again, but most importantly, it doesn't look like we see too much of a change
Yeah,
on
he's
any of the
sticking with it.
sides.
He's sticking with it.
Yeah, we're sticking with it. No changes.
Wow. Okay.
I love this. I think that it's going to be definitely the key is going to be the
А,
preparation.
да, они же такое... Ой, бля, все, они же тут Оман дуэлист у них, блядь, это вообще хуйня, блядь.
I think it was Doombros the other day that was sitting there saying, listen, they changed the comp in the second map and I don't know what happened. We couldn't do anything because all our prep went completely wrong. So, you know, this has to be the exact opposite for both of the teams.
And considering how much BBL gets praised for their in-game knowledge, Vlad in combination with Suchny on the preparation side of things, it could be that kind of easy travel, but obviously both parties had exactly the kind of preparation that you were asking for. Their compositionally haven't changed, the issue that we talked about. So, I don't know how it's going to be on the anti-stride side of things.
The thing is that we're going to see Akute being excessively aggressive with that Omen, with the TPs, especially on B. It's something that he's going to try and prioritize now that they're playing without a single duelist. It's not going to be the typical head-to-head. It's going to be more about Nuke trying to shut him down, just like Nivera was doing on the side of Keiko, for example. The same way, Giants going back to that stage. We know that against Fnatic they decided to play without her. Then against Navi, if I'm not mistaken, then they brought her back. Something that, you know, so seeing Nukia also, you know, settling down and be like, okay, I will be the killjoy. You know, just you go take the stage. Let's just roll things up.
Yeah, this is where I also want to see BBL come out strong. They picked this, I assuming knowing that the chances of them playing Ascent, it is quite low, so I can't wait to see if they can secure this first map. Now, we got all of the tech pauses out of the way, and I was promised by your casters that we're going to have none of them later today, and if we do, you can blame them. Of course, it is Pansy and Hypok.
Damn, Sue, just straight cold. Just blame us, I guess. But yes, thank you for your patience at home and here in the venue. Of course, we kind of come into this, at least in my eyes, as it's kind of the talk of the table, right? In my book, Giants sitting kind of just mid-table, 6th spot as it stands. Kind of everyone tied up around that 1 win, 2 loss sort of marker.
Yep.
But Michael, my worries happen when I look towards BBL here.
Yeah, they didn't start good. The only victim that Karmine Corp has claimed, actually, is BBL. Again, tough draw to come out and play Fnatic and Na'Vi.
Absolutely.
Again, in terms of expectations, you can kind of write those off. They're out of the way now, so if anything, you know, BBL, in terms of, we should trend upwards now.
Yes.
If there's potential here, and actually, I ride that Fnatic result quite heavily when you talk about hope for BBL, because that's probably the biggest numbers we would have expected to see. To see actually how Fnatic have performed other teams, and actually BBL go toe-to-toe with that. Roster differences aside, yes, still a massive positive for me. Left with the same sort of question, though, that we have for a few other teams, which is, when do we see something from BBL in terms of a positive, in terms of the victory? Because there are lots of things to discuss with this team. Obviously, Kushner being the highlight for me. I think you look at the head-to-heads, and even in these previous losses, like, he's going even with, like, Durka and CNET.
Which is huge.
Yeah, and we're talking about a high rate of kind of success in that head-to-head. Now, again, bringing it across, but I know we discussed this last time. The Kushner pick, for me, I'm still not sold on it.
Okay. Talk to me as to why. For those maybe not in the knowledge, give me a little additional as to what you prefer to see potentially, or how you like that maybe different look coming out.
I mean, especially in this matchup here, knowing how Fortuna, we've seen lots of teams kind of dabble now in these duelistless
mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah, compositions.
Yeah.
But for me, it's just better to see it in terms of comfort, in terms of impact. Fortuna actually going to open this one up. It's a little lackluster. As you look at the minimap here, there's a real contact actually to follow up on B. And actually, both Rhyme and Cloud here to punish this wall as well, potentially. The anti-wall actually going to deny the plant.
It's frustrating, but not going to completely offset the plan for now. For a second time of asking, the spike will go down. So now we look towards the post plant. All players for BBL will be sat pretty deep. No one really posting up much further. A couple towards yellow, and the rest kind of sitting a little bit further away. So, retake time for Giants. Vitinho, Cloud, all starting to really need to get that dealt with. Will note the 2 players by yellow, but it's Brave doing well, finding Cloud. The push through from Vitinho gets found, and now just Hoodie. This has been very nice until then. Hoodie finds the final fight, getting plenty of work done for himself. Aslan, I thought he might be able to play the time a bit more there, but absolutely not.
Hoodie playing parkour as the Viper here, making use of those walls. Catching an unexpected angle on top of yellow. Again, real lack of utility here in the post plant for BBL to play off. I think the paranoia probably the only
Слышите, это звон монет.
to make use of here.
Ой, красиво.
Hoodie, though.
Really nice.
Again, unfortunately, just to come back to that same, all eyes go towards Kushner, really, in terms of, especially the early rounds. We're looking for that impact in terms of opening rounds up.
A tall task.
Yeah,
not easy.
It is. I mean, this all started with, in my eyes, the cryo cells pick, which, again, didn't look great. BBL obviously.
Ну, не знаю, такие две карты, что 2-0 сильно смотрятся. Хоть BBL рыпались там на сплите, но они хуёво играли.
completely indicative
Это
of
хороший пик против
that
турков.
next step, but certainly gonna
Да я
ring a
думаю, там
couple of
Пипсон
alarm bells.
проделал
But we
работу,
still
что они
see a
фейкуют
similar
на
look on
Xbox,
the other
блядь.
side. Sushni still attempting to kind of keep attention drawn towards
Да.
a site,
No, I
but
was just about
yeah.
to say, you kind of write off the pistol round, but this is a trend that continues, and already here, Rhyme showing a decent understanding of timings. When that contact is taken by only Sushni over towards A, that wall goes up immediately here on default.
It's a lovely way to buy time. As you noted, even the slow going towards the backside of yellow as well. Gonna basically keep BBL locked into this, not even allowing much of a plant potential to come in. So all rotations are now here. Yes, they left things just cloud a little bit deeper towards A, but it's perfectly fine, and just diving into utility. Not gonna go well for Kushina. Mangled down.
Yeah, the decay and actually the nano swarm inside it.
Gonna need to hit some shots here if they want any sort of redemption. Not gonna happen. 5 standing for Giants, Mike. Very nice start.
It's benefit to ride this through as well. 3 Bulldogs, rifle, a scope as well in the hands of Fatinho. Obviously going to ride that through to try and get the operator online as early as possible. I'm curious if the same trend now carries across into the buy rounds with Suchny.
I just need to either see it, I need to have a little bit more impact there. Again, he's been outdone twice.
I mean, any value at all, not necessarily kills, some information to relay across. Obviously, previously the pistol round you can write off. Second, maybe still probing, but looks like a bit of a switch up here from BBL. Some reinforcements here, and maybe actually baiting Giants into challenge once again to dig out this lurker very early on.
There are bodies behind it though, it's not just one now. But again, you look on the other side of the map, you've still got Hoodie finding a whole lot of information. No contact found for Fatinho either, which has been relatively early on towards that kind of more B-oriented piece. And that should be Cloud. Wait and see if he notes another player here. Yeah, he should have at least seen the Sova. But Kushina's does manage to capitalize on towards Cloud, but with Rhyme there, again, time being purchased. Can he slow them down?
Ой, бля, а чем тебе помогает-то?
I'm unable to escape away. No real security provided by that wall being invested here. Now this one going to do a ton of damage, but won't actually find the kill onto Aslan.
Нормально, под молик, выйти.
Sitting on Hoodie, so keep that the forefront of your mind here. 2 players though playing underneath. The drop down comes in, and he's dealt with swiftly. Turco, lovely. 3 players picked up, and let's see what's remaining. So 3 of them still standing, rifles in hand. They'll be happy enough with that. At least they get one on the board now.
Yeah, curious to see actually the timing of the drone to come through from Cloud there. I think the expectation is that Rhyme's definitely got that contingency covered. At that point, like I said, even with the wall not able to, actually, you can see the position here. I mean, Rhyme's just half a second behind it, but again, at that point, a little bit of hesitation, maybe reconsidering
Да не.
retreating away from sight. Nice clean up from Turco, though.
Yeah, clean.
Keep things as touch as this is again. We did note operator going to be in play here for Fatinho, and he's going to
хорошо.
flat ropes already.
How much does he hear? Note, how far does he go with this? Yeah.
Ебать.
Sushi's just sleeping in this one. He's been
Хороший
bullied and
Эндрик.
broken in the first couple of rounds.
With these early challenges towards A, again, here on the buy round, you've got to anticipate. You press tab, you look at the numbers, maybe there's going to be operator. There needs to be diligence around these early rounds, especially because they've already tried to target Sushni.
Yeah. It's been a clear intent. It's been something they've been looking towards for the last couple of rounds. And once again, it succeeds, leaving, sadly, for BBL, just 4 of them alive. And the lean back towards the B site. Again, you can see the pressure starting to build towards Hoodie. Position will be noted by back of yellow, but he's not alone. Nookie's got a nasty little angle. Should be able to at least call the cross, if not pressure. Let's see if Brave, Kushina can get away. And actually, Brave predicts it somehow. Hoodie holds strong, though, towards the back of yellow. Has to be
А чё если в дабл дэмэдж бегут?
playing it perfectly. That's
Ебать.
gorgeous from Hoodie.
Они просто в дабл дэмэдж бегут, блядь.
Sweat one by one, they come. One by one, they fall. Hoodie holds it
Просто чилы в дабл дэмэдж бегут.
Absolutely
Давайте.
cemented here. A couple of BBL players throwing themselves on that snake bite, desperate to find the trade, in the hope that's going to open up sight.
Да хватит писать про эту хуйню.
Beautiful round by Hoodie, already 8-1 as well. Yeah, and Kushina has to try and make use of his paranoia here. Aslan
Они сами дабл дэмэдж
brings the
бежали.
headshot regardless. Doesn't even matter. They're just desperate to try and find that trade. Even here, they find the kill onto Nookie. Again, with the Viper wall up, they have some sort of safety net to pinch through to yellow there, but there's nobody from BBL to really progress. I mean, once Nookie falls, the nano swarms are going. You've got no threat there crossing default.
Yeah. Okay, so they're going back over towards that similar look on A. No, looks
Back
adjusted.
over towards Tube, actually.
And this is different. This is new. Keeping it fresh. Turret's gonna find quite a bit of information.
Да,
back
да
in that,
пацаны,
but
все в телеге, блядь.
Nuki the one to respond first.
Я кому скрины
There's plenty of
скидываю.
players here. They're putting full faith in Fitinho to hold down A. Feels no pressure once again. So this should be, again, quite telling that there is intent. There is bodies behind this. How much can BBL do? Oh dear. Oh
Ой,
dear, right
блядь.
through the wall, Nuki.
Ебать,
Given that, gonna force the hand on the res that's gonna come through in this.
жестко.
Yeah, I'm thinking that Brave's trying to lead this push through to try and get some progress towards the Viper's ult, I think. We'll be tested once again. Hoodie this time.
Бам,
Not up to it, but Cloud will find two. Brave and that slam.
бам.
The spike almost feels unrecoverable here. Yeah, Nuki hyper aware that someone could still be around Kitchen, unable to clear it fully. Waiting for that pushback. And Giants look unfazed by this. They look really comfortable.
Что-то
even though
пока
it's a very
смотрится вообще, ну.
uncomfortable round potentially. Potentially here for Sushi. I don't know what he can do with this. He's going to need them to feed at this point. 60 HP. Spike deep behind the site itself.
Cloud spotted him as well.
I don't think he's going to get much play on this. Swing on the turret.
Бля, как вот
Very
дисциплина
safe
по
at the end there
турельёв.
from Giants. Again, impressed with them. They look calm, they look composed.
Они посмотрели, поняли, что фейков не будет. Так, блядь, одну демку смотришь,
Find
ну,
that tag, make it
сразу
3v for
понятно.
Nuki. There's no real opportunity for any response to come back through from this wallbang.
Вот это
Listen,
жестко.
I think that
Я вообще не видел,
initially
что
it's
такие
two away
прострелы
from the
убивали.
Viper's pit. They make this kitchen push. He's the one leading with the rifle. He's trying to get that one kill, then find the plant and set up for. Again, we know what that Viper's pit looks like through the hallway. Unfortunate here, but
Ну, они так и делают на праках. Я же с ним много прак играл. На сцене с ними играешь, просто прямой А 500 тысяч раз, все.
Does it make it?
Им похуй вообще.
Yeah, shot.
Nuki all too aware. and to be fair, when we
Да,
look at
сегодня
this
Плутона
Giants
клеща
roster, I do
нашел.
want to highlight they are one of those big prospect teams. You've got someone like Cloud in there, who is that kind of up-and-comer that everyone was looking towards after some really stellar performances. You've got arguably one of the best players as well in the form of Nuki in this. It's just see if they all really
На
come
ухе
together.
болтался,
And
блядь.
certainly, to be said, Rhyme, Hoodie, no slouches in that
Ну
way.
да,
So,
пришлось ведь
let's
ведь
see
не
how this
арку
roster
идти.
continues going
Ну,
forward.
просто,
As
блядь,
said, sitting around
таким
mid-table,
мини-ломом
but
взяли, удалили
the
все.
potential of going
Правда, меня смутило, она даже не обработала ничем
there
там.
is that lockdown. Both
Хотя бы
sides.
Эрик все, не
Yeah,
знаю,
and actually
место
trying to
укуса.
cut off any angle back under tube or rotation through from screens here with his Viper's pit. Nuki's walking into it here. Dancing with death, and actually will be punished for it, yeah. Rhyme desperate to try and find the response here. Brave will be able to slip through that dark can't tag
Oh,
him.
it's on
though.
him! Yeah, there's no escape here for Brave.
What a dart.
You take him when you get him like that. And that's
Не,
completely
Клуда,
removed
ой,
any of
Клуда,
that
блядь.
danger from middle. I
Giants
thought that was maybe
на
when
голову
they
выше
could have
смотрится.
applied that
Раз
from-
Клауд
The
убил.
rest has come through, though.
They're so
Okay.
quick to fight for her that actually they benefit from getting straight back to 5 standing.
Okay, that's perfect though. Finding Hoodie towards the back will at least allow him to plant without too much strain. Should go down, and it has. Let's look at that post-plant capability. How much do they have here?
Well, unless Turco gets a kill, nothing. They got a paranoia and a recon. That's about it.
All right, well, Aslan's done well enough with just a Bulldog. It's still Aslan holding this down. He is desperate to get around on the border. 1v2 required for Fitinho now. Found the first from it being a third. The pre-fire from Aslan
Бля, это туркам так тяжело еще в атаке, еще в атаке.
needed some of that.
It felt very laboured on the way in there. And Giants unable to really close the gap. Unfortunately, really, there's no snake bite to obviously combo with. I think Cloud's like the only one shooting that wall as the plant comes through.
Я вообще раньше никогда с клещами не сталкивался. Ну, я понял, что это клещ. Смотрю, на ухе болтается хуйня.
I said he couldn't even get pinged.
Да,
by it, but
Плутош.
it sticks to him. No chance of getting away there. Again, I like the setup. The lockdown obviously forces that player
Да.
on connector to either consider retreating back towards kitchen or all the way to snowman. So there's an absolute guarantee that you're forcing people
Так
back.
он же со
to kitchen
временем
when
бы
they
сам
can't pressure that
отвалился.
default plant. It's a nice setup from BBL.
Не.
First one really seen them return
Ну
to
вообще я
this
посмотрел, это
10
несложно делать.
side
Против
mode.
часовой хуяришь
Really
его, все, вот
forced
так
out quite a few
подцепляешь.
times early into this
Ну
game.
просто мы пошли ветеринарку,
Working quite
и его за 1 секунду сняли, блядь. Ну правда меня смутило, она говорит, ничем место укуса даже не обработала. Я им дом сам обработал. Пох.
Actually, gonna do well enough. Puts Fitinho in a bad spot there. Sushi's gonna find it.
Я у нее спросил, не надо помазать чем-то? Она так посмотрела, говорит, да нет.
There's still Cloud here.
Look at the damage that comes through though.
Yeah, they're
Brave and
down
Aslan.
low.
I think both tagged off the same spray.
I mean, potentially. I didn't even see where that would have come from. Okay, one heal does go down, so Brave will at least be posted up a little bit better here. Able to maybe take a fight and live. Cloud going to be allowed to be played into this. They've got to check this. First one falls. That's Brave now gone. Aslan to default. Snap. Cloud. That's the hot prospect people were looking out for. This young gun, mechanically gifted, but now Sushni. Oh dear. Feeling hunted, feeling hounded. He's dead. Cloud. Big round from him.
Ну хреново, если это там, ну, что-то передалось от ключа.
Their current record in VCTMEA, I think still perform as a top 10 overall on this role.
Yeah.
It's been a joy to watch.
Certainly has been.
People singing his praises, obviously from that lock-in appearance as well, just to step onto a stage like that and still maintain that consistency.
Ну мне сказали просто понаблюдать за ним, если будет себя плохо чувствовать. Чё скачал? Иди, пойдешь на диванчик? Иди, хочешь? Иди, иди. Иди, иди, пойдешь? Тупица. Пойдешь? Иди.
Very impressive. And hope to see more of that. Again, when you look when you look at, I'd say, Giants as a collective, do you see them as just that mid-table team? Would you put them a little bit higher up? Where would you put them? Wow, they're all at it.
This is kind of sus. Yeah, for me, the Giants, there's a lot of potential there. It's one of the ones you look at, and on paper, you talk about where the peak lies with that roster. I don't think, I still don't think we're even close to that. Definitely one of the ones with the most potential to really actually start chipping away at what we would argue the usual suspects at the top. Whether or not that does come to fruition later on in the season, we'll have to wait and see. Again, there's still concerns, right? It's some of the matchups you should expect to be seeing much closer. And we're talking about obviously Nuki being probably as consistent as Cloud, even all the way back to the G2 days. But there's something that just doesn't click sometimes with Giants, and it's so hard to really put your finger on.
How do you quantify it?
Yeah.
Okay, nice adjustment here towards Tube. See if they force the same reaction out of Giants. This was something we saw them last time try and do that, kind of play through Kitchen, really scatter them around, but it's a lean back towards A, and I quite like this. We haven't seen this kind of toying with the rotations yet.
And no front line really from Giants here, so I mean it's Cloud with a much deeper Owl drone here. A little bit of space between him and Hoodie, but you obviously have the benefit of the Hunter's Fury to buy a little time on that initial plant.
But he only saw Sushni, I think, with that.
Yeah, which tells them nothing considering the early rounds.
So yes, he does have
Даже фейк, походу.
for Cloud. But again, yeah, they didn't pull the trigger on that full rotate just yet, and Cloud's going to be noted. Has to fall away from this spam. Wonders of damage, look at them. Aslan down low, Brave took a boatload of damage in the swing, and a valid attempt. Two of them.
Вы поняли, что произошло? Под моликом Вайпера с первого шота упали мужики.
They need to get that plant down to at least get time on their side. Oh, Brave, you're lucky to be standing. 43 HP. Q-Shun's got to go huge in this, Mike. There's no other way to go around this, and the timing is there for the first. Okay, needs a little more. He's going to try it. There's too many bodies, but Brave still trying to fight this one out. There's just simply too many targets to handle. And it's Giants again, continuing where they left off the back of that
timeout.
Clearance as well from Giants, just to throw, making sure that everybody has two enemies to shoot at. Timing is perfect. I mean, Hoodie's even conscious there of Alert coming back through from mid. Good spot as well from him. And Cloud almost overstaying his welcome, getting pinged by the recon, but maybe to back up. And I think actually on the back of the spray, that's why Cloud gets a 2-for-1. I think it was just off the one. Yeah, it was.
That's it.
Bach.
Yeah, not rewarded with the kill on that spam, but definitely set Cloud up.
Very nice. 6-2. Gotta start seeing answers from BBL now. Yes, still able to get a purchase. Do they have any ults to play with? Aslans. But again, they need to find that impact. Already seen Giants starting to feel out the game a little bit more. You can see this kind of heavier emphasis towards B. 3 players at the start, almost 4 there. Kushner again, off on his walkabouts this time. Does he get better access? Last time around, basically
reaction.
Found by that utility in play. It'll still be noted off the back. Oh, maybe the paranoia will help. Rhyme's actually going to cop a little bit of that too.
Rhyme, yeah. And actually, Nuki's fallen from the pinch on the tube here.
Huge.
Beautiful
Sushni.
clearance from Sushni.
Just a little adjustment. Him working through the lower side of tube just helps out wonderfully, alleviating that pressure from Kitchen, but Fatinho feels safe. He can slip back towards B long. No pressure noted there yet. Turco might give away the game in that fact, but the spike will be down. Fatinho looks a little screwed here, if I'm honest. I don't know how much he's going to be able to
Подумали, Вайпер, так я же сказал сразу вам. А как вы думаете, чего мог сейчас шот упасть? Ну, во-первых, ассист Вайпера сразу видно.
Finally trying to get something done. Sushni actually finding his third on the round now. Even really taking too much damage.
Как по мне, у Giants уже очень дела хорошо.
A beautiful round, Lauren. Finally now, isolating Nuki. Again, you can see Rhyme desperately trying to bait some footsteps as well. Unfortunately caught by the paranoia, which I guess is to flash off a player playing contact off it, or... Not entirely sure on that one. It still worked out.
It worked. So we'll say it's wonderful. But I like that little adjustment there from Sushni. Just to kind of come through that lower side of the tube, get that pressure.
Even just catching it there, I think Nuki actually turns for the paranoia.
Oh,
completely unaware of the possibility of being pinched from mid there.
Beautiful.
Maybe just, I guess, swinging off Rhyme's comms there. I'm blind, cover for me or something.
Yeah. All right, Fatinho, go and walkabouts. Here we go. Now, bear in mind, Kushner is a little ahead. Have to see if Fatinho checks on this potential. Seemingly quite unaware, spammed out. He's feeling very seen. Spots brave, none the wiser about Kushner, and actually gets away with his life.
Yeah, interesting. Again, hasn't challenged yet.
Бля, какой кара... Бля, знаете, как имбово делать? Вот сюда, в девятку летишь. И нажимаешь дэш туда же в стену. Кидаешь смог вот сюда, кидаешь смог вот сюда. И нажимаешь дэш в стену. Даже вообще имба.
Corner of sight, but doesn't look like anybody from Giants is going to try and play that. Early utility sent out as well. No real damage done just yet. A Viper's pit invested all the way from rafters.
Yeah, that's going to note at least one as well on the ping from the dark
Ow,
cloud.
Man.
Striding in, gets two massive kills. Putting it all in the hands of Turco, and it's just not enough.
In the blink of an eye.
That looked like they'd at least have a chance at this post-plant setup, but it just got deleted instantly.
I mean, the Viper's bit comes through as soon as the lockdown expires.
Yeah.
The Giants are just ready to funnel back out inside it.
They had no fear.
I mean, look at the time. There's 24 seconds left, even after that spike being planted. You can't even really say catching BBL off guard. Nobody was set up for that.
Beautiful. Cloud, once again, this man is monstrous to watch. Yeah, Giants, if they can really start coming together as a collective, it is such a tantalizing prospect for this team. Certainly could kind of get them away from that 6th spot. We'll see, though. That's yet to be noted. This is only map 1. This is BBL's choice, however. Now they're going to look towards middle this time. See on the other side, Cloud putting some shots down range, hoping to maybe catch a little bit of something.
Кто такой пес, а? С клещами
ходил.
Кто такой пес? Кто такой пес, а? Иди на диванчик.
Maybe even try to bait somebody into this challenge outside 8.
Еще игрушку с собой берет.
And we can see Giants
иди, залазь. Залазь.
A deeper hold.
Нет, сейчас не будем играть.
Maybe even now going to play off some of the utility. Throw another curveball at BBL. Only got the TP available for Kushner.
Залазь, иди. Иди, что спрашиваешь? Можно, иди.
Well, I say early, there's 45 seconds left on the clock. BBL even try and commit to this plant here. Yeah, they do.
This is pretty.
Миша пизда будет.
It's very dangerous.
Let's see how many get caught.
Не понял.
Can't tell. Cloud's in the way, but he knows.
Что за хуйня?
No gun in his hand this time. He gets away from it too. Gonna reset the tempo here, and the spike is not down.
30 seconds left.
The second wave going to be very difficult without the wall as well, because Cloud actually got in there and he got his ultimate online. That's why Giants have reset so deep.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Just going to go through the motions. Actually gets a tag on Brave 2. Brave's dead and buried. 13 seconds now. BBL running out of chances to get the spike down. It's down to a 2v2.
Один стоял, один
and Cloud is on a heater in this game. Sushni and Turco on the other side, though, stacked up together. Looking to maybe try and clear this one. Take the fight to Cloud, and it works out well. Rhyme with the trade, but can he find the last? Sushni with the adjust.
They're going to meet each other here.
Trying to find it, the timing, the wall goes up. Rhyme's on the hunt, he gets denied. Sushni holds on for this, and BBL Give themselves a
Чел
little
Killjoy,
bit
конечно,
of a buffer
потеет.
now.
Yeah, it's a beautiful attempt from
Думаю,
Giants,
этого
like I said.
недостаточно.
The fact that Cloud gets his ultimate up and immediately everybody resets, plays a little deeper. It's a shame, actually, they give away a kill ahead of that, putting it into a 2v2. BBL forced into a very, very uncomfortable position.
Oh, it's two
Yeah, it's
players.
two detained there, yeah.
Wow. That was a valid attempt from Cloud. He almost made it possible.
Yeah. It's just a shame as well that Rhyme can't really regroup with him and they can't stack up.
All right. See what sort of game we've got on our hands here. Nuki not playing in a similar spot. They might be able to actually deal with that.
Oh, cheeky wall over the top of Tube as
Ooh,
well.
Vitinho.
I mean, the Nano Swarm actually missing for the turret here, doing a ton of damage.
Ну все, гопик Б. Ну посмотри, как Giants стоят, посмотри, как Giants стоят. Они даже не стягиваются, они понимают, что ну. Конечно, все равно не помогло.
BBL targeting it right this time. Aslan chipping away at them. Nuki. Sharp
Ничего, что
fusion
так.
up. And the plant to follow.
Здорово.
This should be comfortable. Cloud, yes, a hero, sure. But a 1v5 basically at this point would be a lot.
А это уже, ну, секунд 40-45, я, честно говоря, уже не помню.
So only going to be Rhyme.
Ну, такая же.
Say that, Nuki as well.
Well,
Not going to matter. Aslan
No.
doesn't even
Похуй,
want to
они
give him a
всем взяли.
chance.
okay, they've given themselves a little bit of something here. 5 rounds to play with. But how do you feel about these 5 rounds? Let's kind of recap what we've seen here, because I feel like overall I was very impressed with Giants throughout this. Was that enough from BBL? Any indicators that you like seeing?
Не, не
I
хочу.
mean, for sure. To
Там
come out of this
Darker
after 5
вышло.
rounds almost feels like a
Кстати, хочу под
blessing
ней.
for BBL.
Она качается
Giants
вообще?
had a beautiful approach to, at least early on in the defense here. I'm glad that BBL kind of cleaned a few things up. They didn't really allow Sushni to be punished any further. A couple of times almost trying to bait Giants into that push. It was lucky Vitinho isn't punished in that previous round. He actually gets away with finding a first blood even after that early challenge.
Yeah, and also I've got to say, I like the BBL side to toy with that mid-aggression, trying to at least bring that into effect. Worked out a couple of times, but it did add that paranoia, that level of having to be hyper-aware of it. Worked out relatively well. 7-5 though, it's still pretty much anyone's
Brim reaction.
coming into this. That would be sort of when we get
Brim
there.
reaction.
Giants would hopefully do well, but again,
А чё, скачать тоже, Дэн? Мне пиздец просто она понравилась.
No, I guess
Аслан
it does come from
Машадов.
concerns as well. You then talk about the Omen, obviously, on the defense is a little more different. Yes, still the ability to post.
Бальбимсон там надрывается.
engagements. We get yourself into a position of paranoia and a TP, but
Хуета.
again, for me, when you look at this on paper, the compositions, it gives Vitinho so much freedom to really actually excel in this role. So I'm hoping that's not going to be something that BBL aren't going to be able to handle.
Look back here of how it all started as well. And there's been some individual moments. Cloud to me sound like a broken record, but he is doing some seriously nasty work. So again, for the fact that BBL were able to bring this one back to a competitive scoreline is pretty impressive. So they were being somewhat dictated to in those first really opening rounds. See Giants just running through.
Иди, можно.
Second half though.
Залазь. Ты уже лапу положил, я видел. Залазь, можно. Иди, Плутон.
Yes, they've had some incredibly hard games. They've probably had the hardest draw to start with.
Yeah.
In this, no one's denying that, but this is a game they should be able to keep up with. I want to see them claim a map here.
For sure, yeah. And even just
Залазь, иди. Можно.
Fairly grueling over times, but they were split
Дубина?
right down the middle.
Иди.
Real anomaly when you look back at
Ну и что, как...
recent history is obviously Giants getting battered by.
Зал, да не опять уезжай, блядь. Я бы уже купил обман.
Attacking rounds, I'm not 100% on that one.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on
Мне
it.
опять скоро в Ереван лететь, походу.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, rather not, remember.
Yeah.
But it's tough. This should be Giants drifting back into a little bit more of a comfort zone again. We touched on the composition where
Залазь, чё ты ноешь?
previously.
Ты тупица?
Fusion able to avoid the start. Only Hoodie down on lower
Продлил?
to challenge. Couple will drop from belt, but sound cue will be given over.
That's about
Naturik.
the Aldrome. But in the meantime,
Nuki going to show very early presence here in the pistol.
Yeah.
Ahead of the minute mark to deal with the
I
turret.
like that. Nuki really trying to get into their heads that they will have to always be very diligent.
I've talked about this, yeah, talked about this previously as well. It's always better for the turret to actually take contact than to, use some utility to clear it. because it's more likely to force that rotation. It actually pulled both members of BBL away from rafters here. We're trying to set up with some utility.
Чок дарт.
Doesn't catch Rhyme, actually. And
Чок дарт.
plant spot.
Yeah, it's worked out really well. 5 standing,
5 на бомбе.
barely taking a...
Ой, у Джет хорошая позиция была, чё?
What's going to be the instigating player on this one? Coutinho going to avoid the paranoia. That's no problem. Drop down comes in. Cloud's gone missing.
Ой,
and now
блядь.
Coutinho gets deleted. Hoodie can't hold the
Ну, он
line.
Клауда продал
And
чуток.
BBL
Надо было
bursting
раньше
back
играть.
on the site. Yes, you've got that deep flank as well, so inevitably this is a problem. Giants are surrounded. They need someone to save the day, and it's not going to be Rhyme. Nuki now the last one alive in a 1v3. Oh my word! Nuki made a damn good go of it. It's not going to happen though on BBL.
Да.
Just about getting themselves back into this one with that defuse. This could close up that score now.
Vitinho is absolutely terrified to swing that angle. You can see he tries to provide
Что
a
значит,
smoke,
сколько выходит?
some,
Ничего не пойму.
well, I guess some sort of pressure towards rafters. But the
Где?
paranoia plays perfect.
В Ереване или где?
Again, catches Cloud off guard. You can see how late the swing from behind Dice is here. Hoodie, I think, even gets from behind default, maybe to stack up with Vitinho. Interesting to see how that goes down in the comms, but again, if you don't get caught by that paranoia in the position Vitinho's in, you want to stack up. You want to make sure that there's two pressure in that drop down.
Вы же говорили, что вы не видите курсор. Вы видите, да?
Again, you'd have to hear exactly what's relayed.
Кованы.
Now coming back, Sheriffs, and that's about it. I don't see any more on the other side. 2 Bulldogs, 3 Spectres. So nothing out of the ordinary particularly. Should be kept clean though. That is the precursor to this round that we always discuss. See how many they can keep alive for BBL. If there's any threats to be found, any opportunities to be had.
Ну, дизреспект за такое решение, что вы ставите спайк и не форсите. Как очкошники.
It's whiffy.
But it's very late, actually. Turco's given across a weapon. Not retrieved just yet.
Хотел нахуя форсить, да,
Very
как
strange
можно так
set piece
убивать.
to look at that with the positioning that Turco's decided to take. He's obviously looking for that contact on the orb, but the paranoia is so late. Again, you miss that opening engagement versus a Sheriff, you give away the opportunity.
Brave's been spotted. Great shots from Hoodie, trying
Бля, чуть-чуть не
desperately to
хватило.
get that real accuracy on that final one. And now Brave's got to hold the line. The rotation
Один
is still
шот
a
бы
little
попал
far
еще.
away. Fortunately for him, has slowed it down a touch. Nuki, though, just going to step towards site. He wants in. Going to take a lot of chunk off the back of that. Does slip away, though, just okay before the nano swarms or anything else really started to hinder
Ну, я не верю, что они такого возьмут.
Big tick in the box, though, on this
Ну, если
round.
Джетка не покажет, блядь, дигл жизни.
Excellent 300.
Nuki's really aggressing.
Конечно, есть.
Willing to challenge. Chip damage is somewhat found. Okay, trying to swing off the back of the contact of the
А,
turret.
если
They're
один
trying their
выживший.
best on this one. They're making a damn good
Ну,
go.
такое. Ну,
Again,
после пистолетки со спайком есть.
outnumbered. And now, looking out of the round, Cloud still connecting with the defuse. I don't think he can deny no, but they walk away
Hey.
with some of those real big ticks in the box.
Yeah, big damage. They get the plant down as well. That's the best you can really ask for from Giants there. Like I said, hoping
Почему он
early
есть
on
бабки
that
за
with this
спайк?
setup towards A, if that's something that
Ну, ты всегда можешь спектр с армором с первым взять. Чилы тоже, ну, будут со спектрами играть.
Cloud's ever going to close that gap with the wall being available so late on.
Дальше телефон сядет.
Tied up here, but again, BBL now come into this. I mean, actually stretching Kushner onto a rifle.
Interested.
Curious.
Oh dear,
Well,
and that rifle's gone, and it's not recoverable now. Brave's gone down as
Ah.
well. Massive early work from Coutinho, willing to take that fight and succeeds, and then some.
The other thing as well, I was talking about this, Coutinho has so much
Сейчас
freedom
приду.
to get into positions quicker than Kushner can get into these cheeky spots on top of boxes and whatnot. It's going to be really tough for Kushner to really stand on that front line. Punished off the rip, and actually nobody here from BBL. Those two early picks have caused a full rotation. Aslan actually clearing down towards Tube though, so should have good timing on an early flank. Nuki hasn't got any utility set up just yet, but I guess waiting for that turret to come back online. He's got the alarm bot down now. But wide open plant here, this is very difficult for BBL to get back into. And that's where you question that purchase is. Big fat 0 from the right side of the screen, Lauren.
Yeah, it's certainly standing out, isn't it? Not looking so pretty. Cloud left on an island, willing to put his life on the line for it apparently, but now let's see if there's any more punish. Yes, Aslan's going to find Coutinho. They're going to get a move on, though. They've got to somehow break this back line, and that's the difficult part of this. They can try and do the damage, but they've got to get a move on. Aslan up and above, finds 2 of them. Another 1v1, but time is not on his side. Needs to get back, needs to get to the side, needs to maybe get it towards half. He needs something. And he's decided not to. Oh my word, Aslan, how much time? I don't think he's got the time.
No, he's not.
He definitely doesn't have the time at this point. Ooh, got way too close, though, Mike.
He's got a little angle there. I'm not sure if he's thinking maybe there's still a nano swarm available
somewhere
or something.
tucked away, yeah.
Again, with the distance, it's that coin flip. Can I stick the half behind this chunk of the wall? Unfortunately there, I mean, they come away with that with a ton of damage done, forcing the repurchase on the side of Giants, but yeah, this is what happened to that purchase from Kushina.
The fact he got that close after getting 2 basically clean openers.
Yeah.
Wow.
A beautiful reposition here from Aslan. There's so many bullets being spammed across towards the wall that Aslan has that safety net to cover that jump across.
All right, Brave. You gonna live up to your name or are you gonna back away? Yeah. Slips away a little, but Giants will go through their utility to try and clear close.
Well, they come into this with only 4 rifles as well. And it would be fine as well if Suchny was in a position to use his ult and he wasn't really going to be involved in any engagement, but
nothing's going to be stopping that, is it? Right. Plant. Oh dear. That damage.
Rhyme is so luckily.
Ну сейчас все это комбинят, Молик и Шоковый.
He's like surrounded, but look at this retake coming out from BBL. I like this. Pace change, gear shift. Trying to take some control, and they find it. Fatinho falls, and now Giants put on the back foot here. BBL.
Бля, ебать, у Нуки хуёвая позиция была.
Back on the site, gorgeous work.
That was fantastic. Giants desperate to try and capitalize on the lockdown. The damage done to Rhyme, I think he's so paranoid of somebody coming forward and pressuring on the back of that utility. So yeah, again, I'll be curious to hear exactly what's relayed in comms there, because Rhyme's posted up looking towards screens, waiting for maybe a second person to come and swing with him. Maybe conscious that nobody's holding that side. I'm not entirely sure.
Тренер сам не верил, посмотрите, он такой радостный. Он вообще не верил, что они возьмут.
Looking a little frustrated with that one. And it is going to be the timeout. Yeah, okay, Giants going to pump the brakes here. As the scoreline, again, so scrappy. The fact that we are tied up 8 apiece. It just feels...
Both teams' previous appearances here on Icebox, like I said, very close affairs, but this one felt like Giants really stretching their legs early on in the first half, and that's starting to fizzle out just a little bit.
Just
like you said, even with the previous, those 2 freebies to open up the round, and it still came down to, well, a 1v1 that Aslan wins, and unfortunately it's time that decides it.
Mad, isn't it? Wow. And it's a pretty even affair across the board for BBL. 13 throughout, basically, for all of them. Turco just chilling. But again, every single player doing very nicely for themselves, all putting in a pretty across-the-board performance. Breaking the bank of Giants now. Sheriff's about all she wrote, and we do have a couple of ults coming through. Fatinho's got his, and Rhyme's got theirs. So Hoodie and Cloud not too far away either. Obviously, Nuki we noted in just that moment past. Yes, it is. So, back into the thick of things, really, if you're Giants, because this could be the round that BBL start taking that lead away from you.
A crucial time as well, an 8-8 scoreline. Knocking on the door of double digits.
They talk about really my one taps.
In the future, you're talking about a full
Scream number 1.
Well. If you look at the numbers.
Мы сегодня точно.
Some big ultimates as well. Available for BBL. Viper's been not invested this time around, but look at the minimap right now. There's 4 members of BBL here, Lauren.
Right place.
I feel like Giants are very, very cautious about this plant as well now.
Yep. Oh, I thought Fatinho was going to have that. Maybe one of these players on the platter, but no, Hoodie's just going to nab a rifle and try and slip ahead. Oh, Kushina! How does Kushina turn that? How is that clean? How has BBL just shut them down so quickly?
Я думал, берут раунд, блядь. Я смотрю, какой Вайпер тайминг ловит. Ёбаный ты рот. А чё Нуки может включиться? Он раньше как пободрее играл. Что он все последние матчи как плохо играет.
Now, unfortunately, Hoodie has a massive advantage there, and you've got to argue usually he's good for them. But yeah, this coming here in round 18, like I said, knocking on the door of double digits and potentially a full reset in terms of the finances. BBL, with, in my eyes, being on the defensive half, big ultimates available for them. This ult cycle definitely favors them.
Спокойно, спокойно.
This as well, BBL's setup here is almost counter anything that the Viper's Pit can do towards Kitchen. We talked about how that ultimate can be problematic.
Вот. Его сейчас в спину выебут.
Yeah, towards boiler.
Но он всех спалил, все, толкайте, он всех спалил. Он успел камеру повернуться. Задавить, 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 9 КТ забрать, вот, хорошо.
But Turco's still keeping his position.
Look at Cloud. He's actually pressuring the res.
Cloud knows this. It's what they want. Does he get what he wants out of this, though? There's people defending it. Great shot. Res comes in.
Бля, как Клауд стреляет, ёбаный ты рот. Какой отец, блядь.
This man is putting up numbers.
Как он стреляет, нет, отец.
What a beautiful audible to call as well.
So good.
I was saying, BBL had so much time and space to reset, take that, and Giants rip it all away from them. That immediate decision making. They see 3 on the flank. They know the weakness lies behind screens or rafters. Fantastic stuff.
Beautiful work.
Big plays.
Дайте мужику.
Well.
Дайте!
Now stop peeking. Gives 5 HP.
Wow.
Big round from Giants. I said crucial timing to get that one on the board.
And he just read it so well.
Yep.
Поехали.
Waited so patiently.
Раз.
And it wasn't like it was just
Два, три,
one player trying to
четыре.
it wasn't just the Sage on the res, it was
Nah, but
so many behind it.
BBL are kicking themselves after that one.
Because as you noted earlier on though, that could have spiraled so much of the downfall for Giants from that. Wow.
Барамзис, брат.
Ты ставил?
Ставка горит? Да нет, какие-то матчи,
Я на стрима поставил. На него кайф 3, я тебе клянусь, косарик залей, не прогадаешь.
Да не, я лучше на Cloud9 поставлю.
Да, блядь, лучше так, да. Сколько на них въебал? Сколько ты сегодня поставил на них?
Рот off?
Сколько, блядь, говорит, тварь?
Рот off?
Бля, бро, это точно не больше 200к, блядь, кредит, так что.
В общей сложности вчера и сегодня 15.
Шира орёт так, спасибо за бабки. А, у меня шоу-матч еще будет, ребят. Короче, в это воскресенье, бля, вообще мне только в КС-то надо поиграть. У меня шоу-матч будет на КС-2. Я, там, Рэйчел, кто-то еще, Доси, Моу. Не знаю, кто будет, может, это секрет пока, ну ладно. Ну, Зонер, соответственно.
Гэл выиграть против Зонера. Там 100%
mismanaged or out of sorts, untraditional of all accounts. Nookie can't do
Ой,
it.
блядь.
Just about holds on. Mike, what happened?
A peculiar round that was to
that was
watch.
so strange.
You see Brave toying with the idea.
Я не
He's
знаю,
a
воскресенье
very
там
early
во
on
сколько
as
там.
well, so he can't commit towards buying more time in that anti-plant position from maybe
Качаю, алло.
Да не хочу я
Да
играть.
купа играем, ты заебал.
Не хочу я, блядь, ну выйдет игра в игра. Блядь, зачем даже игру, которую, блядь, бета-тест 10-й раз уже?
Ну, хочется пофаниться, будет угарно,
Да
мне кажется.
поебать вообще, я хочу в готовую игру поиграть, а не бета-тест.
Гандон.
Я уже видел, что прошла игра, о чем мне еще раз, блядь, посмотреть, не понимаю. Просто поиграть 5 дней в игру, чтобы потом, блядь, не играть в нее год. Ну, кайф.
Какой год, блядь?
Ну, когда она выйдет?
Скоро выйдет уже.
Ну, вот когда выйдет, я...
Она бы уже вышла, если бы не вот эта вся хуйня.
Ну, ожидаем. Какая хуйня?
Бля, скрим себя не развалит, бля, вот вы зря так думаете. Не шарите, мужики, не шарите.
То есть ты 2-0 поставил, да?
На Giants?
Да не ебу.
Больной?
Год ставил, я не знаю.
Два матча сегодня,
Где
блядь.
играет Giants?
Бля, я тебе сейчас в GTA RP, знаешь, что сделаю, блядь?
Ну я не помню, где он играет, блядь, чел. Там у них команда, блядь.
Скрима next матч.
А, ну и сколько ты 2-0 поставил?
Ну, там просто на победу скрима 3 кайф. Там даже не надо 2-0
А против
проиграть.
кого он играет?
Виталити.
Я не помню, кто Виталити играет.
Бля. Ну, до этого я команду Скрима обузил, я против них по КД ставил. Но сегодня я шарю, что они выиграют.
Looking very comfortable. Problem you get that one snowball round where you can just dump everything. Giants unfortunately are relying on investing their ultimates to really swing rounds in their favor.
Шипух.
There's no subtlety anymore. Heading over towards A.
Actually not opting for a very deep lockdown here, retreating back towards pipes. Turco does have the Hunter's Fury now. Last time,
Аврора, до
didn't really amount to
свидания.
much, but early nano swarms popped here means that BBL don't have the same approach that they did previously.
No, because the damage that came through towards Ryan was
Заебали своими турецкими
almost
ретейками.
insurmountable. You couldn't get anything away from it.
With no contact here, I think Nuki's actually either waiting for the Hunter's Fury to come out to use it in the post line, and it comes through early here.
Very nice. Yes, there's
They
been
trade
some
off.
tags on the other side, but there is going to be the other lockdown coming in. Turco has found Rhyme. Again, rough role for him to be in. Still continuing to back away.
One or two? Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
One. Brilliant. Fatinho already down super low 5 HP. This is now going to be hard work. They have the numbers, but do they have the ability to hold on to it? Viper's Pit going to be invested, but no tap on the spike just yet.
Well, they did just tap actually. Immediately got off it.
Okay.
Maybe because of the snake bite coming through, but Bray's fallen. The Viper's Pit will be removed.
Хорошо.
Okay, so it's Executioner and Turco. There's so many people here. Yeah, not a
Хорошо.
chance in hell. Cloud snapping down on that.
And I was talking about that huge advantage. It's almost completely thrown away in that one round, Lauren. Only thing left is Cutioner's ultimate.
I didn't hear him tap that
That's
spike.
a bit of a fumble.
Oh, that's a rough one to run back. Bloody hell.
Yeah, a tap comes through, and I think maybe they're asking them for the Viper's Pit to come down, but again, if that's going to be the plan from the get-go, make sure Aslan's still got his wall. Something else to secure because it's an open plant. If you give that site up for free, you basically concede a very, very
Вот антиэко на Б, вот Пипсон шарит, блядь.
or a deep post plant, I should say.
Антиэко на Б.
And just like that, BBL on the back foot now. Another hero rifle for Cutioner.
It's just madness to me, because I feel like we've seen BBL now with a couple of opportunities to spiral this game away, move it forward, and Cutioner's in a whole lot of danger. Does get away with his life.
Ебать, ему напихали вдогонку.
In the meantime, Fatinho's going to find his victim. Doesn't matter who it is. Now Spike
Ну всю стеночку окрепла, можно?
Time to go for it. Hoodie on the case. And yes,
Damage going
BBL.
onto this wall.
I'm waiting for them to actually try and get some damage dealt.
Ну все, не заруинить. 5-4, пацаны, спокуха. Спокуха, 5-3, спокуха. Хейтеры пиздят, бабки мутятся, я вот так это называю.
Тоже это crazy time, долбоёб. Кого там что мутится, блядь?
Don't talk, бля, это в прошлом.
Makes it all the more difficult. I think even with Suchini's position, just waiting to play exits here, obviously.
Хотя за ночь скоро там будет.
And it appears BBL that wants to start fizzling out now. Nothing for Suchini on the exits either. Giants now hitting 11. Roll your minds back a couple of rounds ago.
Такой
Didn't
скучный
look
матч,
like
как ты вообще смотришь это,
the
блядь?
probable
Ну,
outcome.
без обид. Там, блядь, команд. Ну, Cloud Soul.
The ultimate round is just...
Sticks out to you, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Когда бабки горят, не скучно, бро.
This map, that's the round you look at and go, that could have been your.
Я уже забыл, что такое выигрывать деньги.
If you're going to concede
Бро.
entirely and put
А я забыл, что
no
только
pressure
проигрывать.
on, you have to anticipate they're going to have
Я не знаю, как у меня валики уже, я не знаю, как у меня валики уже стрик там.
I mean, even the lockdown comes through.
Чё, реально тебе говорю?
Вы с онлайном вон неделю назад сидели, неделю. Назад, когда я просто вот так вот взял просто и разъебал с поставкой. Что это? А что за матч был на Xbox? Там допы, блядь, бесконечно были. Кто
Вот в BBL играли, 0 раз фейканули, придурки.
Он BBL кто? Скрим, по-моему, да?
Да.
Ну вот, бро, разъебал тебя, как лоха.
Да, человек просто 0 раз не мог... Ну, блин.
Бро, скрин так вот берет просто, ну, хуй так указывает, что говорит, ну у меня больше. Чё ты, ну, не поспоришь.
Это
маленький турецкий.
Все, скрим напомнит, как деньги проявят. Да, пацаны, все увидим, не переживайте.
Алёк всегда он так понтуется.
Let's see if that timeout's done anything to respawn.
Представьте на Виталити, мне кайф нужен
They've got
хороший.
to work with here because Giants are on the verge of basically crushing them.
Чем будете вот так с таким ебался? Да как, блядь? А скрим вот так будет. Talk about my 1000. Да как он убивает, блядь? The talk about my 1000.
Aldrone, Wall, all there trying to do it in super deep towards A.
I mean, it's Paul Kushner already.
Happy to respond. Dealt with though. Brave leans a little closer forward. Turco now goes looking. He's going to find them all. This has to be the panic button hit. They are in danger. Turco trying to evacuate the site, but there is still one lingering around. That's going to be Aslan. Now, they haven't over-exuded themselves. They haven't overstepped towards the site just yet, but it feels like it's on the way.
The wall going up now. Very quickly punished, but it's Nuki to find the kill behind it. No challenge from Aslan on the back of this. Turco just forced into a position. Again, as soon as they pressure that wall, it drops and they actually lose the advantage.
Нет, вместе. Хорошо. Вы посмотрите, где Вайпер. Алло, блядь. Алло, беги нахуй. Давай беги ножками. Да беги, чего он еще раз чекивает? Беги! Че, угораешь, такая стадия, спайк уже? Охуеть, он что там шугается? Я надеюсь, он там молики знает оттуда. Ой, бля! Че там, пацаны? Че с ебальниками? Это что такое? Это что такое, нахуй? Осуждаю, блядь!
Again, you show two rifles as a Phantom and a Vandal to shoot that recon over towards B. I think that's where Giants think, yeah, we've got the advantage here. Like, we already have the advantage in timing. And that's where also you want to see BBL
Охуенно.
get through there like faster, way faster.
Докачался?
Что? Это кто пиздел, слышали? Кто там сказал шата, блядь? Кто там сказал шата, блядь?
Aslan almost caught up on the retreat, but Kushner is still here.
Это турки общались? Ну, это турки 100%.
That's Kushner gone, doesn't get the follow-up. Aslan quells that, slows them down.
Gets the res off that kill as well, but unfortunately Rhymes is way safer.
А что они на английском говорили?
The pressure coming through, Aslan has to.
Ну там непонятно было, что за речь. Ну что там на английском сказали.
Early progress made by Brave. You see his opposite number, Hoodie. Holding the flank as well. Nuki actually going to pick this up as well with the alarm.
Ну да, мы пиратство обсуждаем. Ну да, Торрента ничего такого.
Handle quickly. And overwhelmed. Good trade for Turco, takes down Cloud, but it's Fatino still fighting.
Хорошо, блядь.
They've got the numbers,
Пошел бабки читать. Ну на сплите они их просто переговорить должны. Ну на сплите они их должны переговорить просто. В нулину, прям в нулину ёбнуть. Они должны на сплите в нулину их ёбнуть. Все, значит, слова спина.
Like a failed attempt here. Brave gonna do what he can, but the time it's in Giants' side. Brave step by step.
Что, мне, походу, докачалось? О, да, докачалось. Раздается.
Death from above. As Giants make it to 13-10 was all the BBL could get.
I gotta say, just a little frustrated with some of those rounds there, whether or not it's, you know, being thrown off the game plan or what for BBL. But
а кто это сказал?
Example here, 3 towards A side, 2 are committed to the challenge. Another.
Докачался? Докачался?
А, реально, это они говорят. А че они говорят, шата, блядь? Охуеть, попробуйте на команде сказать, блядь.
Докачался?
Ластурик будет.
Докачался? Вроде так Роман говорил сейчас.
Шата просто. Ну он нормально говорит. Он говорит, что мы не можем заедь понту, блядь. Ну что-то по игре говорит, короче. Он же не мощнит, он не ноет. Ну он говорит, типа, если мы идем на А, или он говорит наоборот, или стойте в понту, блядь. Ну короче, он дает колы. Я имею в виду к тому, что он не мощнит там ничего, блядь. Не ноет, по делу говорит. А, да, он говорит, please stay side. Да, мы не можем, типа, играть, типа, там, ну, на постпоинте, я так понимаю.
Докачался?
Ну, шатом какой-то залетает, блядь.
Сказал push art. Докачался? Ты не слышишь?
Ну, вообще это странно, блядь, такое, нахуй. Но он, ну, он все по делу просто говорит. А чё ему затыкать, блядь, нихуя не пойму. Докачался? 2 гига свободно на основном диске. Не, надо что-то нахуй удалять. Я у меня там видосы, блядь, хуй вот тонну, блядь, записывал.
Я говорю, порнух не качай.
Shut up!
But Kakuka, on the grand scheme of things, this is a massive win
Stay
for
side.
Giants. They needed this.
Shut up!
And you know,
Stay side,
BBL
блядь.
knew that they were going to come in, probably not being able to play Ascend. This is their second
Кепок
wildcard. So
убивают,
for
блядь.
Giants to
Просто
be able
очкошник.
to move past that and now move on to Split, a map that they have, you know, try and pick against every single team that they've played against, they should be comfortable right now.
Vincent, you mentioned Cloud. We do have
Кепок
some stats
убивает.
as well. He definitely carried pretty hard, I would say.
He carried pretty hard.
Как нормальные мужички.
When I'm thinking back to
Он
their
говорит,
attacking
бля,
side, there
помоги,
were one or two rounds
братан.
where
Внимание, этот торрент содержит файлы, которые могут нанести вред вашему компьютеру. Охуенно. Чё это за хуйня? Бля, мне Миркл точно что скинул, блядь?
Oh yeah, completely. I think that it was at least in a couple of occasions that he granted a 4K. Same with Hoodie on the defense. I think that they were both
Вот так у меня новая видюха.
defending their sides. The movement and
Dark
also
and
the
Darker.
confidence that the
О,
rest of the team
сюда.
had in them. The moment that on this round he gets the ult and everybody
Shut up!
repositions at the clear moment to know exactly what they were going to do. Again, a lot of preparation coming in.
Сейчас я там.
You can tell.
I mean, also for their defense, a lot of the time,
Битки
it
будут
was
майниться.
pretty much free rounds for them. I'm gonna put on my best sideshow hat on because I want to mold a little bit. Vincent,
Да.
we spoke in the pre-match.
А она что, закрытая бетка?
Comes down to the small list of
Она
rounds,
нихуя не
they're
закрытая.
kind of throwing rounds away here and there, and I've got a couple that I want to revisit.
Или
rounds to
закрытая.
start with. What are
Там
they
же она
doing?
общедоступная
Like,
ссылка.
this is what the old Turkish team used to do, and we don't like seeing them do stuff like this.
I was internally screaming.
Хотите телегу вам дам?
When they were all going one by one in those fights.
Батьки собрались массово майнить.
Сейчас быть подписчиком армян. А что такого? Ну, прикольно.
Вот.
У меня друг в одном доме живет.
Что хотела сказать-то, господи.
Адрес в ЛС. Адрес телега.
Короче, КС в плане киберспорта реально классная игра.
Осуждаем.
И Valorant, который мне ближе и больше всех нравится, мне сложно смотреть именно киберспорт, потому что там очень много всего, и как-то, знаете, пока без души как будто. Вот.
Осуждаем. Нахуй я зашел. Ну не, в чем-то в ее словах есть логика. Ну что, типа, Алекс, правда, сложнее смотреть. Даже куча всего в экране происходит просто.
I have to say though, I liked some of the one-ways and how the smokes were working for QT. I can understand the reason and behind.
Ну нет, так и есть. В Алекс сложнее для восприятия. Но когда ты уже как бы, ну, валишься в этом всем, то изи. Не, ну бывает как куча всего, конечно, происходит, не уследишь.
With a lot of synergy, chemistry, and discipline. This is what they do in this round 16 as well. Kakuka, this was so great. This is the BBL we've seen in the past few weeks, but they can pull off.
Вот он, next match, ребят, будет. The talk about my one doves. Набивайте мне кафик, сука. Так вы еще не ошибались. Бля, на самом деле вот эти три мужика, они же, ну, супер опытные. Они должны вообще хорошо играть. Да вы зря так думаете, вот даже с лаудами матч открываешь. Вот, смотрите. Они с ним плотно сыграли, ну, типа. Ну, просто на этом турике, да, что-то они... Ну, турков 2-0 любили, когда на турков ставил. Ну, нет, там вот этот айсбокс турки, это, ну, типа, блядь. Ну, у меня нет слов. А тут я не херетик ставил. Это же я же тут пробил, по-моему. Ой, блядь, нет, что я открыл? Это сликвидный матч. Вот тут. Сликвидный я не ставил. Вот тут я пробил 2-0. Там, ебать, до херетик 5 был кайф, конечно, на 2-0. Ну, так, держу в курсе.
have a chance to get back into this, but is Split...
Ну, тут не пошло у них плохо. Говорю, сегодня они берутся. Не знаю. Чуйка так мне говорит. Там сын не стримит мой? Ты вчера брустил, ебать мем, конечно.
This map, even Ascent with Milan, when Milan was there, the analyst, they love this map. Like literally, there's nothing that you can do against.
And once more, if we take a look
Чуйка, лодка. Да, пацаны. Это мы с вами попозже решим. А, ну что, приду пока.
Like this is like nearly doable for them every single time. Struggling a bit more on the attacking side than on the defense. It is just something where it's minor fixes to me. Look at BBL so far. Well, one of them was Karmine Corp, not the strongest of opponents overall. It is where I once more see exactly those small things costing them those crucial rounds, which then could bring them the victory. But here we are in Split.
I do expect for this map to be as close as the Icebox that we have seen. You were mentioning the results, Vincent. I think that also against Na'Vi, that is a map that they should have won, and that would have translated into the 2-0. Because I remember at least being a couple of clutches from Xiao. A lot of, you know, one thing that Giants does a lot, which is lining up on the way out, and they need to stop doing. But for the side of BBL, I think that they have a really, really good chance. I love Vitinho on this map. We know that we've seen him on the Jet. Now he's going to be, you know, potentially moving on to the KO, and I saw a lot of improvement in him.
I mean, and also more importantly, you guys mentioned you didn't like to see Kute on the Omen. It's not something that you felt like was a big win condition for them, but what about Split? More comfortable here?
Yeah, definitely. You know, having the freedom and also not you playing as one more, but actually people setting you up to make the play. Because on Omen, even if you try to make the play, it's you on your own. You know, you use your smoke and then you TP and yada yada.
I'm just curious if they swap around a little bit of the composition setup, because obviously they play single controller instead of sometimes we see the double controller using no Sage. It is a change that I overall, like, if we look at it from the top-down view, like, but at the same time, Aslan has been so comfortable on the Sage, right? The amount of freedom he had, the way he used his walls to early deny space for the attackers. It seems to be working for this team, but I think if you want to surprise a team that is so well at preparing against you, that would be a choice.
Okay, I mean, I have to say that if we go through preparation, I know that something that BBL does that I think Foot, as you know, the comparison to the Turkish team, love to do, especially there on the attack, is just working on a trident, just sending 3 players to get that mid control. I wonder how well they're going to move around, you know, having the Cypher alone and being something that Giants is going to be able to read on. We saw some adaptation on Icebox. I want to see it happening here as well.
And mentally, you know, we talk about how important it was for BBL. They have to start somewhere to kind of climb back up the ranks, but it's also weird because with everyone else, with the other teams, even if they lose this week, we feel like, oh, it's only week 3. Doesn't matter too much. We still have a few more weeks. But BBL being 0 and 3, I don't want to say it, but there is a potential that their chances for playoffs might just be over right here, Vincent, if they don't get this win.
I mean, it would be then 0-4, right?
Yeah.
You would basically need to win, let's say, 5 to 6 games overall to even be close to that top 6. It is concerning because I don't know how much pressure they feel, right? Talking to Vlad earlier, said it's like this LAN environment is a bit different to what we experienced so far in Turkey. So I personally hope that they are now used enough to that stage scenario. But if that, what you just said, is in the back of their head, I'm like, this could become really ugly.
They have to go against Liquid. They have to go against Food. I mean, there are no really easy matches for them moving forward. They need to come back on this split. It needs to happen now. We need to see, you know, I remember when Turkey used to play on this match, when we used to see him on the Sage even though, you know, we expect him to go on the Breach. I want to see that clutch factor. I want to see the BBL that we know is there.
I mean, look at them right now. I feel like when we watched FUT yesterday, they were all laughing, joking around during their pauses and stuff, but it's just game faces all across the board.
It is very much game face. I mean, it gets serious now to considering what your playoff chances were. And I have to be
in the world.
Oh dear lord.
I feel like I want to.
I think I'm
do we
missing
address
something here.
that?
That's Karmine Corp. He has a Karmine Corp jersey.
Is that from One Piece?
Is that Mr. Karmine?
The CEO of Karmine Corp?
Is that who Karmine is? But I mean, that game is going to be coming up a little bit later, but there's a lot of stakes riding on here. Similarly for Giants, you know, they already have a win under their belt. You don't want to get reverse sweeped though, because that sets you up for even a worse kind of mental stake for next week.
And if it happens, the fact that it's on split the same way that it happened against Na'Vi, that you have a player on the other side that you literally cannot get through, that you get so lost in the sauce. We were seeing some kind of overheating on the side of Giants, just thinking that the round is over, thinking that overpeaking on just going for a kill that you don't really need. I think that we saw it on Icebox at least a couple of times, that they have the spikes for themselves. It's a 4v1 and Fiti starts speaking and they're like, you know, there's a turret watching the cross. There's not much that they can do without us knowing. You know, is that kind of comfort zone that they find from themselves that actually doesn't work for them.
I will never forget the fact that I genuinely celebrated their win on Split and then Shao happened. Like for the 2 seconds, I was like, oh my god, they did it! Yeah, they didn't. And then the rest, Vincent, we don't really want to talk about, I feel like.
No, they were cracking a lot under pressure there towards the end. I gotta be honest with you, I didn't listen the last minute, basically because I saw Nuki change his...
It's okay.
What's new?
I mean,
what's new?
I was watching Nuki pick his Vandal skin. You know, I was trying to see what he picks on the Vandal. What kind of changes that made. I'm sorry, I was really keen.
Whatever excuses.
So what is it?
He was scrolling too fast.
So you're telling me that you ignored us for 1 minute, and you achieved nothing.
Exactly. That's like 10 minutes less than he usually ignores us. So I'll take what I can get. We are gonna head into Agent Select soon, but again, you know, we've been talking about a lot of how you can approach Agent Select. You can have the Na'Vi way of just changing things over and over again. You can go down the route of Fnatic and Karmine. I think we've seen as well, where they don't really change anything. What do we think about these two teams? Where do they kind of place on the scale between the Fnatic and the Na'Vis?
I think they're closer to Fnatic. I think that Giants' adaptation has always come in from a loss, like something that didn't work. Like, for example, as we said, trying the Icebox without the Sage is something that they went back to. And even if they didn't win that second time around, it doesn't really matter. They learned their lesson. They feel more comfortable. And it's something that they think they can invest more time on to actually make it profitable. On the side of BBL, I would like to see some surprises. I would like to see some changes, maybe just because of what we saw on Icebox. Giants is very well prepared for them.
The question is only if BBL is like seeing this as their top priority to change things up, because it doesn't feel like it's the #1 issue, predictability. You know,
I think that they have a solid split. It's not.
Exactly. So it feels like this was not the #1 thing for them in terms of changes. And now also like on this map, to once more highlight, obviously Kushner's on the duelist, right? That is a big change.
I mean, just telling you how big of a change that is. When they played against Fnatic on Split, even though they lost 13-11, Kute won 6-2 in first kill, first death.
Yeah.
He was really there spearheading. He got way more first kills than everyone else on Fnatic. He dipped Durka there as well in that department. So Kute moving from the Omen to Raze could potentially be the saving grace here.
Yeah, maybe. But on the other spectrum, if you think about BBL and what Kute needs to do, we also need, for example, Suchny and Brave to stop taking that amount of risks. It's something that we just saw. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But not only not having smokes, but not having a sentinel when we've seen the way the Giants plays around the maps and moves around them, it can complicate things.
I mean, that is particularly true if you consider the roles they play, right? That because they have such pivotal, utility-heavy kind of roles. The good part is when you just mentioned the Fnatic game, right? It was Suchny on the defending side also finding 3 kills as a Cypher, which pretty much speaks for his setup. What? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna stop.
Karmine Corp, yeah.
Le bleu wall.
So they have a blue wall, but it says
that
orange
guy's buff,
in the t-shirt.
I feel like that's what you turn into after watching so much Karmine VODs. I feel
Sideshow doesn't look that different.
Yeah, but Sideshow's going to invest a hat for himself, I feel like. As we're heading to Agent Select, you mentioned about how much Giants love this Viper, of course. We're expecting it here as well. It's going to be a lot different, though, to the Icebox sort of Viper.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, for example, when we're talking about the attacking side, we usually see those classic kind of walls that you have, where it comes down to lurking onto the A side. That is one of the classic uses we have. You usually try on the defensive side to deny more of the mid control. It is the classic usage. It's nothing super crazy, but at the same time, it is super useful if BBL is not contesting that early on.
Yeah, it's such a high priority for Giants, so it's probably not something we're thinking they're going to move away from.
Yeah.
Okay, it's going to be Kute on the Raze. It's going to be on the Sage. Now there's only okay, so they decide to go for
Shadow.
Listen. He saw Atta Captain.
Ну, справа мне пик больше нравится.
I'm not gonna be less. I mean, the composition does not change. It does change who's playing.
Через Вайпер это вообще душка. Такая душка на этой карте.
And the Turkish fans definitely remember what he can do here. I can't wait to see if this change is going to pay off Pansy and Hypok, because it has to if they don't want to go a 0-4 week.
yeah, this is now getting to a bit of a sticky scenario for old BBL. It's not looking so good anymore. And with this map here, what are your thoughts, Mike? Is there tell me a tale, redeem some factor of this to me, because I'm worried seeing.
Да, Darker пойдем играть.
That's great. The one that sticks out is the Karmine Corp loss. Yeah. And again, I even remember during that cast talking about actually Karmine Corp looking as if they kind of got it, right? There were a few really beautiful set pieces. I was starting to believe. How naive of us. But BBL really struggled in that head-to-head. And there was a number of problems that kind of descend beyond Karmine's ability to execute some of the set pieces there. And actually, some of the things we talked about on Icebox, which is the setups from BBL just weren't executed well. There's a number of times we've seen them play comps like this.
Может, бля, я хочу Darker поиграть. Но FDS тоже очень хочу поиграть. Просто всего на 5 дней.
And we just don't see the success from them very often. So to still stick with, yes, there's some movement here in terms of names next to agents, but I can't help but feel.
Насколько я помню, BBL супер хуёво за защиту играли. У них, по-моему, другой пик был, нет? Может, я путаю? Я помню, что на сплите они хуёво вообще за защиту играли. Что, вот так вот просто?
Immediate three-man walk down mid, rewarded for it as well. Giants gonna have to, or even scramble initially to get the spike out of that position. Bit of an opportunity towards a site right now.
Все в телеге, ребят, на телегу подписывайтесь, головы. Я там все показываю, на кого что. Тут самый, да.
Giants actually looking to re-hit mid here, expecting maybe BBL start exploring elsewhere on the map, but as we can see, a heavy focus towards Mail.
Yeah, Aslan sitting ready for this. Two up towards just that left side, so swing on contact going to be there. Really nice.
Тут пистолетчиков 0 почти.
Hoodie, I mean, he can make a go of it, but feel like there's just too many players in the way. And yeah, not going to happen. Mike, give me more of that. That little mid-walk.
Что ты урчишь там?
Well, immediately squashing my idea that the game plan is going to be the same.
На Giants 2-0. Домой, блядь. Человек пистолетку за готовность в слите взяли. Домой, блядь. Че турки играют в сплит, необычно.
Spread 3 towards B side and 2 towards sewers right now, so maybe even looking to challenge and pinch that pressure if it does come through once again.
I just quite like the pace they're coming out with. They're playing with confidence. Hard to rekindle that after the last map, of course, but still, it's going to be brave. Up towards heaven, having to fall away and respect the push coming out from Giants, and they're pouring through it. Up through Mailroom, a little bit of a split towards B main, should know both players, but you can see that counter utility just going to slow them down, allow Brave a chance to re-swing on this. Aslan's got to be careful here. Giants are at the door, but BBL, more often than not, shutting this down so far. It's been a drastically favorable.
Не знаю, бро, редко проебываю.
Actually, Spike very deep in heaven here, so Hoodie has to wait for that support from Cloud. Does have a flash available, 2 sheriffs in hand. Again, BBL with a very tight hold on this. Kushner finds his third. Cloud will be noted regardless.
Bach.
Almost catching the second on the rope as well.
Now we're getting a little worried. No flash for 25 seconds, so Cloud's not got any utility to play with, but that Sheriff's doing some damage. Needs the tag on Aslan. And Turco was noted, so he knows where 2 of these players are. The third, you could kind of make an educated guess. Yeah. Bloody hell, Cloud again.
Так, бог.
That got real close. Mike.
Never have come that close.
Why my palm's sweaty? What's happening?
Carry across 2 rifles and a Spectre, but forcing out the armors, so the light shields most likely here to protect the finances.
Bah.
And whack-a-mole on the rope there, but unfortunately doesn't catch it. I mean, even there, if he catches that kill again, you think about the headshot through the wall as well. Onto Aslan, definitely doable for Cloud.
This is a nice spot.
There's only 2 pistols to throw into this. Alongside those weapons saved. And Giants, I think, immediately want to kind of deal with this mid issue. The precedent that's been set by BBL from that pistol round.
Such an emphasis on this mid fight, yeah. Oh, Rhyme's in danger. Does get away with his life, but he is taken down quite low. 70 HP now. Aslan's going to respect that and sit a little bit deeper towards the vents. And it's just going to be Brave taking a little bit of a look here, but burst through comes in. Nuki outdoes Aslan. The vents are open. Flash up high.
Разбейте ему.
Get nothing off it. We know that it's going to just be Sushni on his own here.
Immediately trying to flip the switch as well. Some utility to slow down the push from Giants, but a little bit of a gap now. Complemented actually by Brave's position, but he's shut down.
And Sushi's deleted in a second.
Хорошо.
We talk about keeping it clean. Hoodie is low HP. Rhyme a little bit more vulnerable. Shot from Kushina. Hoodie's head rolls. And all three players are dedicated towards the site here. How much more can BBL do? Can they cost them much more here? It's another attempt. Kushina down to 50 now. Starting to get worked down. Turco only with a Spectre.
Another headshot.
That was another heady, but he can't
5-0.
quite
А,
close the
5-0.
gap.
Там
Starting to
развилки
get a
были.
little bit
Я такой
precarious.
5-0 радуюсь. Ну ладно, двоих
Giants
потеряли, плохо.
keep the round in their hands.
Да сори, меня
Standing.
там
This is the
отвлекает.
thing as well. I mean, Rhyme nearly being caught off guard with that fault line, the follow-up on the paint shells. Actually, if BBL do have some more of these trap plays set up and Giants try and fight fire with fire and take back control of this map early on, it could pay dividends for them. Beautifully placed Snakebite as well there. Talking about Brave's position being influential there, but immediately shut down. I think actually as well, Hoodie was waiting for that opportunity in A main for a long time to perfectly time with the utility. Sushni's setup will be tested once again. Aslan actually playing
Хорошо.
defense this time, so
That's going to be him considered now.
Блядь, камера,
Mention of the
которая
unknown
висит.
quantity in the back. That's really it. Now, noted off the back of the utility, Cloud slipped a little bit further ahead here. Gotta be careful. Spike is in his hand. This could get deadly. Cloud, this is really dangerous. He does
ебать.
win the fight on towards Aslan.
А чё гол
Opening up
такой жесткий?
opportunities. Double pumping was back towards B, baiting them in towards that rotation on A. There's still players here.
Там Бридж должен был убивать, на самом деле.
time to buy Brave a little bit of time, but
Здорово.
goes up the rope.
Чё турки делают?
Challenge punished for it.
Чё они делают? Они видят?
Deal on this B site here.
Very overzealous in my book. Maybe didn't.
Чё они делают,
go for
реально,
that.
ребят? Как будто,
I'm not sure
блядь...
there. Turco sends a took out. There's a flash to make sure Brave can actually play off the rope.
Не! Это что за раунд?
Something else to enable.
Срочно чекаем БК.
Literally just
Скачок
going
был?
dry peeking, potentially the whole
Не, реально, этот раунд, что это такое?
Just quickly as well,
Бридж не
we're
убил,
seeing
Рейза в
Giants
такой позиции не убил.
push and probe and make sure that they have that ability to call a very, very quick audible.
Yeah.
Again, Cloud,
Хуй знает,
you
короче.
almost got to question the approach towards that engagement in ropes, but he finds it and immediately you can see Giants pop off that. With Rhyme's position towards mid, knows that there's
Читаешься.
no pinch, there's no second player, or at least the next player in line. He's playing very deep towards heaven. Giants capitalize very quickly.
This just feels like that next step, right? We saw that mid-aggression and the attentiveness from BBL towards middle, right? There are three players there. Now, this time they're just going to go for the stack, right? They're just going to put basically all their eggs in that 1A basket. Yes, they do have Sushni on the other side, but Giants have been treating the site as their end goal.
I was going to say concerning, though, that there isn't any point of contact towards mid, vents, or male, or anything like that, because that's been the catalyst for Giants. So here you got to wonder what they're going to be thinking when there's no contact at all, when it's total freedom. And even on the flip side of that, you look at a Spectre here and there for Turco and Brave. Could be problematic if this side push comes through.
Still to toy with. Got the Seekers, yeah, and then they're just going to really make sure. And seeing all three head this way,
Yeah.
you kind of know what you're going into. Careful now, though. Still chipped down a Jun. Hoodie's down to 34, but Giants continue forward. The Seekers were enough to repel this correctly. And yes, Sushi was the singular player on B, but Giants happy to take on the challenge on the stack, and they do it well.
Looking very drilled as well here.
Хуже Evolution ничего быть не может.
Unfortunately, BBL don't now have the advantage of the finances. It feels a little uneasy to commit to some of these risks taken in the early round.
Вот, что турки взяли. Пестика антека. Моя песенка спета, калоги молчат. Пикнула сплит и покинула чат.
Maybe because we have those two players up towards B Heaven, but
somewhat of a question mark on this round as well, if you are BBL, right? It's like, okay, Giants have worked out that mid approach. They kind of got that step ahead of us by starting to hit those A sites. Do they go back to it? How do we adjust to this? Do they think, you know, is that stack that we just run enough to
Турки охуеть,
dissuade them from going
что
in?
такие фейки существуют.
So this is going to be once again on Sushini to try and hold back basically the flood. That's 4 players there.
yep. I mean, full faith in the retake here, I guess. And
There's that late lurk as well.
I think even here, Cosmic Defy going to cut off some information here. It takes a ton of damage. And Force
Они опорник, они спалили, что опорник девятки.
Nope,
Да, даже налегке зайти.
Nuki posts it. And this is what I'm saying, he's a specialist in this role. Do not forget how good he can be. Now that late lurk could come into effect as well on the other side. Remember, Hoodie still lingering at the bottom of the middle, but it's all through Heaven right now. 4 players still standing here. Gonna spot the first. Nuki forced to fight, does fall. Ryan with the trade though. Turku gonna go down on the other side. Red's gonna come out. We're back on the fight towards Heaven. 4 still standing. Right now on the choking block. Has to dip away. But Hoodie slowly but surely creeping closer. Trying to play it just right, just as they start leaning towards the site itself. And Rhyme, the flash to try and keep him alive, but it's Hoodie busting on towards Heaven. Gonna fight 2 and right now.
Не ждали, люркер.
This is wraps in this round.
Brave, the last one, will find a headshot, but that's about it. Cloud to clean things up. Actually, even here with 3 standing, I was about to mention the previous, only 3 consecutive rounds, but they've been so clean that very early on, Giants have built up such a buffer. With a couple of buys in hand. Did you see the BBL timeout pop up here? Because, again, the setups don't really look robust. They're not really getting any value in the early game. Giants just run through the motions, honestly. Hey, maybe an opportunity towards B main here, but like I said, the first person you want to see switched up here is, especially if you're getting no value from the Cypher. Again, look for some different information.
I'm worried though, it's 4 on the trot. They haven't really found much of an answer.
Надо подумать мужикам.
The aggression was nice. Yes, when Giants were fighting against it actively, it looked, you know, almost like a coin flip. You could have had maybe a round for them there.
Coin flip знаем такое.
Got that read down. Since they found that comfort, I need to see the answer back from BBL. Maybe there's something they could run, as you noted. Maybe there's some other options there, but as it stands, sounds strong. How those ults coming along as well. BBL do have a fair few to play with, though.
I'm thinking, oh, yeah, we've already seen the Cosmic Divide and the Seekers from Cloud. And actually, we do see switching things up here. Leaves the trap over towards A, so maybe a little red herring for Giants. We've seen the same walk down mid. But again, very early information gathered by Cloud.
I want to see if this works, though. They've gone for the instantaneous, like, springboard, right? Get that contact over towards middle. Try and get that pressure building towards B. And
разворот сразу.
They're at 120. They can just hit the brakes after this. They've drawn every single player, Mike.
But the thing is, Fatinho actually spotted Sushni with the knife there. So again, it's another curveball towards Giants. How do they react off this? Well, they can actually find some space. Looks like they might actually even re-challenge towards Mayo.
Giants хорошо действует.
But it's a shot from Cloud. Got outdone before, but this time well and truly up to the fight. There are more players up here. Now they slip away again.
Sushni's in such a weird position as well. To play against a KO like this, you got to argue that knife's coming towards Pillar.
Ебать забайтили.
From the cam, no value from the trap. If Fatinho's knife,
Типа, чтобы сплитит. Там сразу флешечка.
It's gone. Sight's open. Cleared towards backside, nothing there. They can kind of prioritize where they need to swing. Does well, actually. Great by Fatinho, but Rhymes just bullied his way in on the side. Turco, there's a rocket behind this, but he doesn't even get the opportunity to die to it. It's just Kushner, and it's 3 targets, 30 seconds, and he's dead and buried. Giants, so well equipped, and even you noted there, Mike, that knife coming in.
I mean, he's hit twice.
It's vulnerable.
He's hit twice by a knife. On the first one, you think, okay, if he's going to throw this knife, I'll reposition. Another teammate can play off my utility, because it means Nuki doesn't even have to satchel through the choke there. They can drift through as 3 or 4 because nobody's going to be punished. I mean, short of a spam through the smoke or something like that, but Sushi's also in this round only got a sheriff, so he can't even counter that suppress by spamming into the smoke.
Was that Nuki?
I don't know.
Run it back. Can we get a remix of that?
Yeah.
That was nice, Mike. That was really good. Again, my worry's starting to compound at this point because once again they went for that mid piece.
Well, I mean, already a positive here. Sushi's playing in spawn. So,
he does not like the knife.
Somebody's going to be able to benefit from his utility at least. Another red herring as well. This camera is set back up in A heaven, so maybe a little misdirection here, but the Giants have been rewarded with the opening engagements. Again, a freebie in the previous from Cloud. A number of times we've seen them actually respond immediately, stacking towards one side when they find that kill in vents.
Here we go.
Да, брича ульт.
Probably gonna do pretty well with this. Yeah, this should be lovely.
Oh! Нет, все, возите.
The audacity gets away from the ult. No harm, no foul, and now it's game on. A site on a platter. There's still players here though, and the quick adjust.
А, они еще на бай бегут, ебать гении. Турки в ахуе, что так можно делать.
Trickery, if anything, they're running rings around them. Now they can leave Hoodie posted up over
Have they got timing on this wall as well? Oh, you're going to break it down regardless, but...
Sushi down below, needs to do well here. Gonna find one, ult comes in, can't really withstand anymore. 15 seconds now, Nuki willing to challenge CT and loses the fight. Braves denied him. Spike yet to make it across towards the side. Oh, Brave belly. This is so scrappy. Spike going down, Rhyme, he's defending it with everything he had. 3 massive kills.
He's down to 1 HP and he closes out a 3K like that.
And he had to. If he goes down, the Spike gets denied. Beautiful. Beautiful play from him.
This is just heartbreaking. Slight off timing there from the second satchel to catch the rolling thunder, but again, Nuki with this movement, so slippery to pin down. I mean, that's magical from Rhyme.
Yeah.
He knows it.
Nuki noise is my new favorite thing. I just want like little clips of him after every round. Oh dear. Bad to worse for BBL, Mike. Those 2 rounds feel like a lifetime ago, don't they?
They do, and there's very few positives to bring away from these losses as well. I see some pings there, which makes me think they've spotted the spy cam. I mean, he's suppressed as well, I think, off the knife, so... Giants just doing so well to switch up some of these early rounds and figure out exactly where BBL are playing, and they formulate a plan immediately based on it. That's not a jump peak. So, yeah, I mean, it was hilarious. Brave's lucky to be alive, honestly.
You are divided.
Cosmic Divide goes in.
Alright.
Rhyme's caught.
Oh, so close.
30 seconds.
Again, look at the gap here.
Не, как они их переигрывают, это вообще
15
пиздец.
seconds for this rotation to come through.
You can see the protocols for Giants are ready for that other player still, but as you said, it's so far away. By the time they get back, there's so much to clear, so much to get through. This is... Oh dear, it's not looking good at all. Maybe Hoodie could get overwhelmed.
This Viper's pit has spread so wide as well.
Yeah, and even just trying to leave it is going to be nasty. There we go. Finally getting towards the site. Turco has found Hoodie, but Nuki gets, you know, a softened target.
Что-то по 1-1, мужики.
On the push out from CT, and Giants just categorically shutting them down. This is very underwhelming for BBL here, and quite unfortunate because Giants are playing a great game.
Yeah, and there's not really anything BBL can do to throw them off kilter. Giants, like I said, able to just walk through these rounds, sticking to the checklist. And like I said, there's so many plans readily available based on this early information they're able to get from Coutinho. Again, just quick shout out to him, we haven't even mentioned it. So much value found on the back of that knife in a number of rounds, whether it be disabling utility from Suchny or even just figuring out positioning. Haven't actually had to rely on Cloud too much. I mean, he spots out a spy cam in the previous with the Trailblazer, but the flashes aren't even being relied on. They're used in combat. They don't have to send any fact finders out. Well, there's the first one. He heard me.
What did you say about my flashes? For now, though, drifting back towards
Sorry,
A.
just quickly. I mean, yes, Giants are drifting towards A, but Sushni's back on pillar when no command's available.
Good. That's a good plan.
Ну, что там у Астра хорошо так растяжки стоят. Еще звезда есть.
Round of applause for BBL.
Ну, как будто все равно его разъебут. Да не, просто уже все, уже просто на уверенность страхует. А чё они так встали-то? Не понял, что Giants сделали? А чё они задавили одного чела? Они знали даже, где он.
It's a bit of a nuisance, but it's not the end of the world. He can still address his site. 20 seconds, Mike. They've got to get a wiggle on here. It's a 3v4.
Still have to dig Brave out as well.
And he's going to be a problem. There we go. There's the utility, and he swings perfectly of it. That's the unison. That's the work we want to be seeing. 12 seconds out-wise.
Чего?
This happening though. Brave is desperate to try and win this out for his side.
Что, только такое даже проебут?
Sushni's still not quite there. He finally makes it around. Knife going to come out. Doesn't catch. Coutinho knows he's got a couple of steps to play with, but not many. Sushni's there, finally has his impact. Taking down Coutinho, who suppressed him half of this game.
Хуй знает. Похуй, даже на этот раунд вообще поебать. Денег нет.
Not really gonna do too much of a dent towards Giants. They're comfortable in terms of purchases throughout the rest of this. Now, even looking here, I mean, it's going to be BBL that struggle on the back of that, to be honest. Brave's done wonders to find this. Again, even here on the replay, it kind of highlights just how sloppy this push has been from Giants. We haven't seen that yet. It's been very well drilled, very disciplined. I mean, you can kind of excuse maybe if Nuki satchels into the choke or tries to create a little bit of space, but the second and third swing just almost no synergy there. Brave punishes.
Well, first one in a while. Take them when you get them.
Scout destroyed.
Maybe a little misdirection as well, because Aslan has been positioned towards vents. Actually posted up here with a judge. I still call that link spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. I'll let you have that.
Long live Link.
Kind of miss him.
I do. For reasons like this.
Yeah, because this would be 4 if it's Link.
Yeah.
Hazan, what you got for us? You got 4? Nope.
Bah.
No, got mine. Nope. That's 2 for 1 trade. And away towards the side.
Needs to stay.
Oh, no.
Oh, he doesn't?
No. He's, again, the trade's so good, though. It's just like Kyusha's just banking on the right timing here, which he might just about get.
A kill and res.
There we go. Find him. There we go. Back on their feet. Okay, 3v2. Cloud
Big
and
util
Rhyme.
actually here for Aslan as well. Because he fell so quickly, still got plenty to work with,
Yep.
but the paint shell comes in a little late, not going to do any damage at all. Brave has his ultimate, but Kushner on the flank now, Lauren.
That's got to be it, right? That's not it at all. Cloud is so aware. And now it's on Rhyme. This guy was the bodyguard, the ultimate defender of that spike before, but he's going to need more of that. One towards heaven, drop down, and on the side they go. Finds one, isolated, dips away. He's playing it so well. Another fight, and he wins it. Rhyme is
У нас трейфика, все четко.
Repeats his success once again to clutch out a round. And Forcy is a total financial reset for BBL.
Алло, ты ебанутый?
Patino's clearance there is brazen.
Алло, придурок.
Алло.
Что ты там кидаешь?
Go matchmaking.
Иван?
Forcing Aslan deeper
Че, делать нехуй?
around that pillar.
Я в кайф зашел первый раз за полгода, блядь. Погнали нахуй.
It's just the
Качай, сука, бич, тварь.
Да не будут хуйню играть.
Тварь.
Выйдет игра, поиграю. Так,
И команда Giants проходит в полуфинал, а Люк Хуйсов. Здорово,
Да,
ты просто из-за деньги, да.
Ты, конечно, комментатор такой, но... Вот слушай тебя сегодня, ну... А ты вообще ну, монитор смотришь?
Я чуть-чуть видел, что там писал.
Или ты, ну, на комментатор что смотрел рядом с ним?
Здорово.
Я чекал. Да, блядь, пиздец, стил у меня, блядь, пломба отлетела нахуй на зубе.
Ну, я не знаю, там крыша был. Там Ширыч, ну, типа, у клоунов куча денег. И Ширы специально авик выкидывает, чтобы не отдать его КТ. И вы такие, типа, бля. Типа, как будто нахуя он это сделал. Я думаю, бля.
Да не, им что-то пиздец хуёво. Там Шера чуть ли не заплакал же во время катки, прям, думаю, ебать, он прям вообще поплыл.
Просто типичный форстел, что в ранкеде.
Блять, у меня нахуй пломба вылетела на переднем зубе, я сегодня, блядь, комментирую такой, и я слышу, что у меня, я такой прям, блядь.
Ну, это просто справа удар.
У меня щель просто как у Сотфика теперь стала, блядь. Сотфику сегодня пишу, а братуха, блядь, теперь мы, блядь, ровные, а он мне присылает фотку, понял, у него ровные зубы. Я говорю, ты гандон.
Зато плеваться удобно.
Охуенно, блядь. Ладно, надо сисеть, подожди. Не работает.
Как денег не будет, он лег спросил. Он королевством играет, но свистит, и что-то денег нет.
Там колесо свистит, там колесо свистит.
Это твой рот свистит.
Пойдем ММ.
Да, это больной или что, не пойму?
Да какие матчи, блядь?
Почай игру, сука, тварь. Ворота лучше поставь тогда.
Какие ворота, блядь? Я на басе, блядь, знаешь где?
Ну, зайди с другого. Он больной, блядь, он, походу, ну, только чат смотрит. Да не те.
Ебать!
А, ты помнишь, где мы челов там казнили? Ну, которым лут еще отдали.
Осуждаю тупо.
Бля. Которым лут еще отдали, помнишь? Алло, голова.
Ну.
Около моста чел.
Ну.
И я сегодня там пробегаю, ебать, там 2 топика стояло, фулл топики, бля, я вообще охуел. А сначала меня, ну, их 3 всего было. Меня сначала вот так чел полз, сидит в лесу и зубит меня, как я по мосту бегу. Вот уебище. Я что-то по ним так потыкал немного, съебал. Да будь у меня пули, я бы разъебал их. Эх, пацаны, легкие ставки.
Как S2 вы? Чтобы поиграть в матчмейкинг.
Don't talk, да.
Тише, тише звук. Я конку вооружения играю.
О, это Астрадна. Но Вайпер есть молик, кстати? О, это хороший закуп. Я так тоже закупаю. Это имба. Он просто нажмет соску молик.
Возможно, фулл день не будет.
Ты чё, гандон? Я думал, за фулл день беремся.
Можно только вечером, наверное. Но я ухожу.
Надеюсь, навсегда, блядь.
Я же не Светлана.
8-11? Да, проверяй. Блять. Они теперь будут фаниться, потому что флешка начекали. Вайпер молик дала? Да, хорошо. Ой. Боем вылетел. Хорошо, хорошо, закрыться. Куда летим, Стефаня? А что он делает? Бля, что турки делают? Чел на релоуде просто по центру карты стоит. Че, ебанутые? Я соболезную тем, кто, ну, болеет и ставка и сердцем за турков.
За Cold9.
Охуеть. Бля, одно дело, ну и чё подобрал Юс? Посмотри, как он бежит. Вообще на похуй, блядь. Как будто в ранкет зашел. Ну, типа, не душно, нихуя не душно, просто по центру карты чел стоит. Хотя уже много времени прошло. То есть они заходили вязко, и типа у КТ было миллиард времени уже стянуться. Очевидно, что спокойно чел тебя может распикивать. Не всем очевидно. Ну и они фоху не сделали. О, это прикольная кабина турков. Хотя бы зафорсили. Ой, бля. Ой, бля. Видел мою ставочку на скрима? Да такая ставка сердцем, знаешь, бро. Вот эта ставка чисто по расчету 2-0 тут. Как-то ожидаемо. А там чисто сердцем такая. Типа похуй, я ничего не теряю, я на это выиграл. Понимаешь, поэтому... Надо было на эту 2-0 ставить. Кайфик 2 был.
Throw something out, see what sticks. Aslan finds the opener and they're just barreling towards heaven, desperate to try and capitalize on it. This is a great opener here, but like I said, all it takes is a little bit of pressure from Nuki. Paint shell lands, and unfortunately, Aslan, I believe, fell to that.
Да могли бы еще раз даже сфорсить. Нахуй. Они верят, что они откомбэкают в столько раундов? Серьезно, блядь? Да похуй, лучше 2 раза зафорсить уже. Это кто это такой идет? Иди ко мне. Иди ко мне. Плещеносец. Иди сюда. Иди, покажу тебе. Иди ко мне. Иди сюда. Покажу тебе, ребята. Иди. Тяпа. 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 Привет. Нет, весь слюняк буду потом. Привет. Нет, буду в слюнях весь сидеть. Буду в слюнях весь сидеть. Не дают облизать, да? Не дают облизать. Не дают облизать.
Успокойся, пожалуйста.
This is all to try and prop up Sushni towards ramp potentially and then slip back
блядь.
towards B, but it feels like Giants are putting that together. They're starting to piece this one together. Hoodie. I don't think he caught it, yeah. It doesn't matter! He's got both of them, and that's the spike.
Проигрыш на донор.
25 seconds left. Sushni still towards ramp.
Ему почти 3.
Oh dear. And Hoodie, unaffected, unfazed. 13 seconds. This is crawling to a close, but BBL.
Bam.
More to be done. It's 12 for Giants. Lovely performance from them.
Приставочка.
Not even gonna have a long enough second half for ultimates to really play a part in this.
No.
Neural theft though.
Oh, big. Big
some
ups.
info.
Get some info.
Gotta get a kill to use it though.
That's right, we at least get the Logitech G power up round. That is one thing we do get now.
Yeah, this one's about to pop off as well.
Да, не установлено. Надо будет сделать.
Леха, Леха. Лучший на планете.
Осуждаю.
Осуждаю.
Да.
Sushi forced so deep here. Again, Giants so proactive, denying all this space. Coming back to that comment once again, there's no comfort for BBL to even set up to do what they want.
No, they're getting pushed around the map.
It's the same way Giants really approached the attack as well. They didn't give BBL a chance to really set up. Isolating kills and then these fast rotations, catching them off guard.
Just taking the 1v1
Не зря додепнул 2К, да это фриставка, бро, блядь.
Бро, блядь.
Ну мне опасно было, что турки могли одну карту взять. В принципе. Не прям такая фри.
3-12, probably be 3-13. This has not been a pretty affair.
Это что, больной?
Again, sing the praises of Giants. They played a fantastic, again, probably the best.
Сюда, бабки.
I guess opponent aside, we've seen them operate.
А теперь one-tap машин поговорит, блядь.
Really brewed for them. Icebox, couple of hiccups here and there. Again, BBL, not necessarily think it's something that they brought to Icebox. There was just a few that the Giants unable to really close out. We didn't see that same hesitation on split at all. It was way more decisive. And kind of just stuck to the game plan. In every single round we saw them. The intention was followed through with an execution.
Yeah, and I love the word decisive.
Бро, пока ты там, блядь, чилишь, я нас тут развлекаюсь.
Красавчик, нахуй.
Парикмахер, блядь. Выстрел в голову 10. Вот так.
Паритрах.
2-3 было на 2-0, ребят.
Я 700 баксов поставил.
Ты, блядь, только на голдов можешь поставить.
И поднять.
Да.
Поднять кайф.
Хуяк поднять ты можешь, блядь.
Кайф поднять, а про это.
Чел голдов ставит. Я им в приставке валики колю, он, блядь, на голдов ставит. Лучше реально с этой пятнахи ебать бы ты уже 50 сделал. Серьезно тебе говорю.
Ты в край сами проебал за 2 депа. Бро, всему свое время. Мажор не закончен. Поэтому... Сейчас он 2-0 от бегов зайдет и как бы поговорим.
Давай.
Понимаешь, да?
Давай, давай.
Ну, понимаешь, да?
Давай, давай.
Ну, понимаешь, да?
Тебе историю мою заскринить? Стал.
Я тебе могу просто свой хуй скинуть.
Ну ладно.
А, скинь свою историю, Казикл, так. А я тебе свою.
Пошел нахуй.
А чё?
Правда, нахуй идешь.
Хотя бы на скриншоте увидишь такое вывод.
Что это за хуйня?
А не деп, вот так.
Что за вывод, стой?
Ну, вывод, когда вывод делаешь.
Выводы? Выводы сделаны, блядь.
However, I do have a treat for you guys. I know you want to be talking about the game that's coming up.
Бро, поздно делать вывод. Выводы надо было делать тогда, когда ты жил в Калининграде. Выводы не были сделаны. А теперь ты где? Куда тебя это привело?
Ереван. Ереван Плаза.
Вывод кредит, да, у него именно такая кнопка.
Что это за стак такая? Ебать. А что так писать сделано?
I don't know if the microphone catches it, but you can hear the Colin Hornets right now just going at it.
Охуеть, метро рекламу.
Being the showstopper is like, you know, the great show in the week. So yeah, it's good, I guess. For Karmine fans, it's like mandatory thing to win against Vitality, so we need to, absolutely.
I'm excited for next big match against Karmine Corp. It means a lot for us as a players and from our perspective, we want to win for sure against them. The mood and the feelings in the team are great. The job is still not done. We'll try our best to keep going, and we want to show that the first 2 wins were not just lucky.
It was a great match against BBL, and then we lost against Heretics, but we didn't play our good play style, you know. So yeah, it was a good entrance of the week, I guess, but it was better, you know.
Это Valorant.
Здесь
Скрим выиграть не может.
Когда
будет турнир по Aimlab'у, тогда Скрим скажет: погнали.
We'll end up the same way for UK.
Виркот футбол. Тамара.
It's been a good experience. Everything feels good. The stage, the fans coming and cheering for us.
Чупа-чупс.
They talk about my one taps.
Взял бы мой чупа-чупс. Прикольно. Я могу без сахара, ты же, ну, надеть.
Anything more in the tank? Shin finds Sturgeon. Oh my god! No way! Karmine Corp! Flashed over, tries to spray through. 3 bullets remaining.
То есть ты поставил 2-0, что выиграют.
Чего, бля, какие 2-0?
А что ты ставил?
Просто на победу скрима.
Победу скрима. Значит, болеем за пчелок.
Угу.
Пчелки! Let's go! А там турки или кто?
Да Антон, блядь.
Да не шарю, кто в Виталити играет.
Крекер.
Кто?
Крекер.
Крекер? Нихуя себе стул, что такое, блядь?
Так он охуенный.
У меня такой есть, кстати. Терминатор, блядь. Охуенно. За одну стол, наверное, там, ну, баксов 200 добавляется, блядь. К стоимости. А кто сейчас флешку там кидал, Лёх?
Не знаю.
Ну, кто флеш кидает его в Валоранте?
Ну, а кто?
Не, ну, кто, как думаешь?
Много кто.
Не, ну, как думаешь?
Ну, много кто.
Кто хаешку кидает?
Zero
Кто?
distraction. Zero doubt. Zero opposition.
А соску кто дает?
Кто?
Кто?
Nivera can only find the one. Comfortable first round for Vitality.
Yeah, I'm still curious.
They talk about my one taps. Так, что у нас пикибаны какие были?
I'll be honest, like I'm still not the biggest fan of
Опять сплит, блядь.
I don't think we've seen the best of him just yet.
Ascent
And I
split?
also think that Nivera at times on this Omen, it gives him opportunities to play that operator. I think that might be one of the reasons on that.
Скрим на джетке?
Having a secondary controller as well could work out quite nicely. I do still worry a little bit with the lack of that second. Gets him the info, but Scream is able to trade. They should garner them a plant.
Давайте talk about my one taps.
Very quick to get into position.
Feels somewhat winnable. I always feel in the post-plant situation on this site, it's doable for those that are on the attack and have got that spike down because of the narrow kind of bottlenecks you're forced to come in through. Great combo to Twister playing at the back of the Paranoia. On the march through, flicks onto another. And this is exactly what we were all worried about. You might say screens on the jet, but they're still Twisted on the other side.
Yeah, and that's the thing. In the games that they've won, Twiston has been one of the players to watch.
Yeah.
Like, last week when they played versus Foot, that was where he went missing a little bit, but I think that was more of a blip rather than any questions being called in of the ability.
Ну, не знаю, Нивер жесткий чел, Смот жесткий, Скрим тоже может нормально играть. За тех двух, не знаю, не ручаюсь.
Obviously, there were investments last round, but because they get the spike plant, it doesn't really matter too much. Like, KC have managed to balance out any economy. This will be a full purchase coming through unless they've made some drastic mistakes we didn't notice. However, there's still a lot of rifles coming in. So for this Logitech G power-up round, KC kind of have to be careful. They don't want to throw this one away and give Vitality a huge boost.
Obviously leaning in towards not trying to do that. Still with the 3 Bulldogs on side and Bone Corp maybe the one.
Ладно, дай на пике посмотреть.
Pieces when someone on side falls down to one of the initial engagements.
А чё, совы не там, не там? Понимаю. Но... У Скрима мне пик больше нравится. Они за КТ должны вообще отъебать. У них 2 смокера, блядь. Киллджойка, они за КТ вообще должны отъебать. Вот если в атаке не возьмут, раундов 5-6 за КТ отъебут. Я немного, 3К.
The one with the Vandal, the rest of
Да нет, сова на этой карте must have. Да, вот когда человек так играет, можно авик брать и ебать просто.
Especially considering that you have not only the Sentinel, but that sort of lurk outside A.
Давайте talk about my one taps. Он что, не слышал? Что он делает? Ладно. По нему чел в спину хуярил.
Sure, they've got themselves into good positions. They've moved as a team, but they've always gone one for one on their movements through the map.
Хорошо. Хорошо, блин. Эти обратно один бегут. Сейчас и валим, пацаны. Сейчас поговорим за движуху. Кто тут за хайпом, а кто за культуру топит. Сейчас поговорим, блин. Сейчас поговорим за культуру, поговорим. Сейчас расскажете, как новичков залили. Сейчас расскажете. Ну вот за сплит мне страшно. Ну похуй, у меня не на 2-0 стоит, у меня просто на победу стоит, так что похуй. Ебать, Ави красиво смотрится на фуллах. Вот я про что и говорил, сейчас будет эндрик. О, ну ладно.
That initial aggression, but as you know, Twister, he's not going to stop there. And in fact, Mosey, that's the second time now that Shin has been sort of caught. He didn't die in the last round, but he took a hell of a lot of damage from these aggressive pushes. This is something that KC need to be a little bit more aware of.
He shut down to 17 last time, and it seems to have been the real kingmaker. You know, we obviously saw Fnatic yesterday absolutely dominating their opposition.
Хорошо.
So much of that came off trade play, moving as a team and looking to...
Ну, мне единственное, тянка Вайпер тут нравится вот так, да, что ее юзают. Она так перекрывает, конечно, здорово.
A little bit of a freebie every now and then. 17 HP left in the last round has said this one now dead.
Well, you have to bear in mind as well that his sort of secondary controller is being utilized to have...
Конечно, надо, чтобы Вайпер еще выживал для этого.
Almost instantly, then the value of that utility goes very quickly indeed. Twiston, somewhat alone here on this side of the map, has a little bit of pressure in towards the market, which is Sender going to be pushing forward. Nevera and somewhat tunnel visioned in. I'm not sure what made it believe that spot was clear. That's a very easy kill.
That's what more they can find at the back. Converting into another from market. XMS finally getting the trade. We'll give it to both teams so far.
А чё они убегают?
One for ones consistently has been the theme across these first few rounds.
Чё?
KC back away and with that coming in towards B main. I think I'm with you there. It looks like a save indeed.
10 seconds left. I don't think there's any way that they could rotate.
Отступаем!
Trying to get there in the last few seconds.
Отступаем!
With the stack up of players that ended up on that B site. That was almost made a little bit too easy for Vitality. Like, I am surprised. Like, Sender just basically gets two, I think, free kills. The first one was Nevera, again, just being a little bit tunnel visioned into trying to stop those players rotating. Sat on the lurk, like, doesn't even check as he walks around the corner. And then I think also just, well, Scream was waiting for him, but that's just a couple of 1v1s. Sender wins out.
Особенно сейчас, вот сейчас на Вайпер не отвалился, у них бы все получилось. Там бы стеночку подняли Вайпер, он бы не фанился за КТ, прочекал маркет. Да, им надо за лоб подраться. Вот он, блядь. Плейстайл бесовый.
Just reminding him there are 2 jets in the server.
Ну вот хуй его прогнать, как, ну типа.
And he's going to be everywhere. That's going to be one of the main issues. And again, it's something to mention with only having that solo initiator is you don't have a lot of info as to where he currently is. A lot of the time you're going to see early Sova darts being pressured in towards mid, using that KO knife to potentially deny. They've got none of that. It's the single Sky of New Zero who
Нормально
basically has an
фанили.
awful lot to do in the early stages.
Ой, ебать, тайминг в лобби, хороший тайминг. Хорошо, хорошо. Нет, не пали, не пали, не пали. Блядь, ну. Ой, хорошо, ага. Он что, ебал? Чел на фул ебал, в молике сгорел.
Destrian's taken a lot of damage from that snake bite. Paranoia is sublime. A secondary flash as well. And he gets both.
А как, блядь, колдзера, блядь, не меняет, сука? Он же красный был. Ёбаный рот, блядь. У него чела 1 хп был.
He basically just lowered his HP at the beginning of the round and then just killed everybody anyway.
Вот, смотрите, как у него 6 хп! Он 6 хп не мог убить! Охуеть! Охуеть! Да похуй. Надо одну такую ставочку сделать, расчилить. Верим, верим, это начало, начало.
Of this Vitality roster is just being boosted. They have run all the way up, and it's just looking like a slaughter. Granted, it was only pistols in this round,
Вот и triple pick.
That did look a little too easy.
It just looked far too easy. It was a meat grinder, and he was just turning the handle as they marched forward, one after the other. And it's an easy closeout in the round. A feel for Scream,
Scream на джетке.
0 and 6, yet to really get involved in the game at all.
Yeah, as I said, it's always.
А кто с Авиком у них играет? Невера же, да?
You're kind of hoping he's going to be able to at least get you some of those openers.
They got like no damage back on the other side either after all of that. Just not expecting to be on the booster thinking.
Scream на джетке.
And try and step back into the graves, pick up this spike, maybe look to try and rotate away, but as you can see, there are 3 players that have moved over towards Ada saying, Sender, we get it. You're on a heater today. You and your turret. You've got this site locked down, buddy. You stay where you are.
Well, they've at least managed to get rid of Timmy, but that's about it.
Every cloud.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, I don't think that adds anything to your ACS, your combat score. And, well, at this point, they almost just have to run straight into the site. You don't want to save just a pistol and shield, so it's going to be the full sprint in onto the A site. 15 seconds left. Still utility available. Actually, Destrian still has a paranoia. So he can literally just blind up the remaining player. Navira, as said, he basically has to just die at this point. A spike plant would be nice, but not wanting to save absolutely nothing. And well, it'll be 1 kill at least, a little bit of damage onto Vitality, but looking over at their economy, I think they'll be okay.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, and they are drowning in ultimates at this point as well, about to have 4 online. Admittedly, KC have the same, but they know things are just going from bad to worse, it feels. A couple of eco rounds really not going their way either, as you'd come to expect. But even the rounds when all things feel equal, still not going their way, Tom.
Yeah, they're actually going to buy an operator up going into this next round. So Navira is someone who can basically do it on any agent. I think this is almost just a direct counter because in a lot of the thing that was good about their old comp was that they had so much utility that they could almost just try and play these slower rounds, but then their opponents wouldn't give them any aggression. Well, now they actually have the ability to go for these sort of set executes. They have quite a lot of burst potential. So you've got the Omen Flash and the Paranoia, and then you've got Sky's utility belt, which can set you up wonderfully for these executes. So Vitality are not letting them execute. They are getting aggressive across the map. We've seen A pushes almost every single round. We saw Sender in the last getting up on the box with the orb to take fights. And we don't even need to talk about Twisted. Like, he's been everywhere. Yeah. Absolutely everywhere finding openers. So now they're actually going to have to invest in that operator just to go, okay, we need to shut this down now. Then we can get back into the rhythm that we want over on this attack side. Unfortunately, I think that's easier said than done, because even though you plan to stop Twiston, he's 7-1 right now.
It's also easier said than done.
Definitely.
Yeah, a lot of it for me is the kind of selective aggression coming out from Vitality, right? We're not seeing them kind of go charging into KC head first, because I think, like you said, they've read the comp. They know the win condition. They know what to expect. It's more bread and butter meta is the way to look at it, right? So in their response here, they're saying, okay, when you get a little bit closer, that's when we bite. And you've seen it across a few rounds now. Destrian a couple, Sender coming up on the flanks. Just these plays that all come together. Arguably when KC are expecting it most, but they still get outplayed because that sudden dump of utility onto a clump group of players just nets them so many.
He was waiting for that pick for the first 25, 30 seconds of the round. Finally drops down from his perch, and it's a free kill for Twiston.
Seeker's coming out now. That tells you all you need to know, that the engagement is coming in. Scream straight in there, nice and aggressive, but Bone Cold is already out of dodge. Getting absolutely melted by the utility, and finally it's Twiston to finish him off, and they're going to have to back out here because of the Killjoy. Great response by Vitality.
He almost just crouched into the ult. That would have been a little bit awkward, but yeah, it's
nice.
They've used some ults.
Я на Giants, ну там зашла ставка против турок на 2-0. И тут фановая на скрима. Сразу верю. Я смотрю, как они играют ужасно, блядь, я не знаю. Что должно произойти, блядь?
Just sheer filth. And I feel even if the lockdown had come out there, looking at the spacing of the players on Vitality, they're
Я верю, что возьмут.
You have got the KO coming up from the backside as well. Molsey slowly working his way through spawn. But it feels like this round is pretty much already done and dusted when there's just one.
Верю, 26 раундов.
Who can collect the kill? New Zero maybe from behind. There it is. Molsey collects.
Но смотрится пиздя, просто их ногами пинают. Смотрится так, как будто это снос 2-0 очень быстрый.
I think right now they're being caught by every single piece of aggression that comes out. They're unable to clear mid.
А, действительно, там кайф набивают.
That's where Sova utility comes through. Very valuable in not only just destroying utility that's there, but also just darting up the operator player. Because that's the thing. Twiston has nothing to stop him. It's literally just, we have to shoot this guy down. So he could take every fight he wants. And sure, in the initial stages, Navera was patiently waiting for him to take that peak. But it's changing where it is every single round. They are not prepared.
Да не, пацаны, ну, блядь, они очень плохо играют. У меня-то в любом случае, я в плюсе сегодня, понимаете?
Unfortunately, if they don't get any rounds in this first half, it doesn't matter.
That's exactly the problem, right? And we even saw them bring out the op in one round.
Ну, доливать точно стоит.
But just no one's been able to get him out of the game so far. Literally unplayable. In case you couldn't quite clock, we have got a quick tech pause coming in, so...
Там что-то пиздят, типа, кого-то выговор делали, не? Вы видели, ему так показали, типа, блядь? Вы видели реально?
Vitality, as always, is fantastic. And the thing that I always think with a team like Vitality.
Бля, сейчас приду. Но пока команда Скрима смотрится так, что, говорю, быстрее 2-0 проебут.
But they have the sort of staff behind them and an IGL behind them that's only going to make them better. Like, it's much better for them to falter earlier in the season because they're going to fix everything they have. Now, bear in mind, this is a map that, well, the last time they played it was versus Lampasan. Now, if you haven't heard of that team, I don't really blame you. It was a mixed team that was thrown together of Lithuanian players, and they beat them 13-2. Now, they haven't played it in any other tournaments. That was in the off-season. We didn't even see it when they were around like the likes of Red Bull. We didn't see it all the way through when they played at Lock-In. So it's understandable why, okay, the likes of Karmine Corp went, maybe that's a pick for us. Like, we're going to change up to a more aggressive comp, one where a map where Scream has thrived, by the way. This was one of his home turfs. He used to play Phoenix on this and make it look good. Do you know how rare that is? Loads of players have failed to do that. Unfortunately, right now, he is struggling. And I have to be brutally honest, I haven't seen any real value from their Viper just yet. So I want to know what the ideas were on this attack side for that Viper to give them something. Because, well, either he's put the screen down and someone's pushed through it, or he's put the screen down and he's died within 20 seconds.
Well, see, they can bounce things back because, being dead honest with you, Tom, I think everyone was still waiting to see the value from. Twiston once again here holding in towards mid, at least for a second, impeded off by this Viper. They've got the right idea as well with the spray coming through. You know that they expect someone might be hanging around tree, but Twiston has moved himself between arches and around tree side for the longest of times. They're up nice and close, and my God, that must have gone right under his armpit. Didn't quite connect onto the player, but it was that close to being a freebie. Push comes in, a spray through the smoke from Molsey, and he finds New Zero on the push in.
Yeah, almost an opener. Prowler might be used. His Scream has his Blade Storm activated. They are going to clear the spot, but it's just not good enough with the peak. And now their, what sort of major ult that they were throwing into this round is gone. Paranoia, I don't think, caught anybody. And although they have these players pincered, they're just not winning any of the battles. Finally, Shin managed to get himself on the board.
I mean, again, it's off the back of a trade. It's a nice little bear basic to have when you're already down on numbers. These one-for-one trades only work in favor of Vitality. It's a 2v3, but they are still playing off the back of a Classic and off a Sheriff.
And Bone Cold's fallen back to the site. There's also a wraparound coming in as well. He's going to try and make this awkward and just about manages to get that kill and eventually Vitality recover. It got a little bit shaky for a second, but ultimately still 7-1.
I'll give it to KC though, playing off the smokes really well to close the gap and get up nice and personal. That's where you're hoping that you're going to find that beautiful one-tap headshot onto someone with the Sheriff, but sadly not to be. Now, this next round for me is a big one. We've got the op back on side again. Navira is bringing it along. He has dropped every bit of dough that he had in the bank into this round to be able to contest against Twiston. Now, so far, no one has been able to really shut him down. He's 9-1, for God's sake, right? Exactly. He has not been stopped on this op so far. His bank was near enough full. He's had to spend here because he was sat at 9k. Someone's got to stop him, and Navira has to be that person. I think he's got the most kills so far on the whole team. Finds one. That's a good start.
Yeah, this is the first time they've been able to properly deny that A aggression. This is control for the majority of the map that has been there for free. Still, although the B site is empty, a double up in towards this A site, mid control being spotted for, and looking like this time KC are going to go for a much more direct approach. My one worry for them is the ults that are currently stacked up over on this A site. They can use both of them to deny utility and vision and sound and lose half their health.
Nice use of that Viper pit as well, just to force the ball back, but the immediate response coming out from Bone Cold. Deafening everyone out here, but they push on the underside. No! Sure, Navira finds Twister, which is the kill that you're looking for. They've got into 2 here as well. It finally feels like KC are building up some thunder, but Sender comes off towards one side, and he's got it all to do, facing off against 3 players.
Yeah, big round from Navira. We've seen this operator many a time, and he is homed in on the angle. Wow. It'll be a 4K from him. Finally, we see someone on the KC side step up to the plate, and it's that man with the operator.
4 kills in that one round there, putting his total up towards 10. Next closest, XMS and
yeah, let's not talk
3.
about the fact that the rest of the team have 9.
Yes. my only... The thing is, I don't really want to kind of like put them down any further. Like, everyone knows that KC is struggling at the moment, right? Yeah. But the 2 rounds they've won is one where Navira's walked off with a 4K in the op, and they won the bonus round when they were up on guns anyway. It's been 2 rounds, not that you expect to win, but I'd say you're in a much more favourable spot to walk away as the winner on. That last round really being the first one where it felt all things were equal.
Yeah, it's good though that they baited out 2 pretty impactful ults. Like,
they've still got 2 left as well with the Viper's pit, for example, right?
Yeah, but Nightfall and the Null Command were used on the other side.
This is so cheeky. Oh, it just misses him as well.
Both players taking a pretty even amount of damage. It's not the worst case for either side. A double up on short, again, we're going to see pressure being put forward from Vitality after being shut down in the previous round with more passive positions. They're wanting to try and not allow for this build-up play on the side of KC.
And so that constant threat of what if someone's mid? What if Twister re-peaks again and we're in trouble? Little do they know, he's rotated all the way up towards A Heaven. He is nowhere to be seen near this mid side of the map, but they feel so wary of it because of how much damage he has done around this area of the map in previous rounds.
It seems like they know that there's a player on this corner. Yeah, they're going to pre-fire it. Good trade from Destrian. Paranoia as well to try and slow anybody down as the rest of the team look to try and execute out. But Destrian is just taking over. It's the second time he's taken a risky fight and come out on top. Thing is, though, he's just still going. A 3rd kill now for Destrian. And 2 more pressuring Twiston.
Those 2 are coming together so well in the middle of the map as well. Just constantly collecting kills. Destrian and Sender this is as well. I know Sender went down there, but he was the bait that let Destrian find XMS and make it a 3rd in the round. Out comes this Viper's pit, just about getting onto the plant spot, and also a lot of control inside the tree. This might make things a little bit risky.
Хорошо.
Finds one for himself, and it's going to be a bit of a bait here as he goes in towards tree, but they found 2 and managed to close the round out. Look for a
Нехорошо.
like KC might have an in, but Vitality slammed the door in there.
They talk about why там след. Я не знаю, скрыло джетки какой-то баг уже. Алло. Да? Ебать, нормально.
Okay, he's got from the shadows. The only way they win this round is if
Как они плохо играют, шок.
Spike picks it up and brings it back. Was there just a
Я раньше сделал.
kill? It looked like it was. I think even they were surprised by it. But then they killed the player and teleport straight back again. Low time for Karmine Corp. There wasn't much of an
который не
option for
пройти,
them
там
here.
духе зомби.
And after a
Они
round
стали
with
зомби
one by
бить, я
Navira,
просто стою.
Ебать ты тварь.
Still Twister being able to fly away, but really the concern now.
А там твои вышки решили подойти, понял? Мимо этих зомби.
The entry in this one as well just cannot be stopped.
Нормально, охранники.
Yeah, he's one of the players that I think coming into
Я
this
слышал,
roster,
зомби
people
бьют.
called him like, oh, he's the support player. He's the guy who's going to be throwing the utility.
No.
Not in this map. He has been obliterating opposition. Molzy
Ой,
under
бля.
pressure. He'll go down, but of course, Danger Man Destrian is there to trade.
Of course, he is just always there as well. Jump peeking for the information. Knows that they've lost tree control, and the push is coming in. XMS goes down.
Бро,
And once
напрягся.
again,
Кого-то, ну, одни ранки играют, а другие на турик приехали вот так.
Ладно, Лёг, после этого матча можешь скидывать, ну, свой став.
Так чё, одна фановая похуй.
У меня тоже 2.
Так, ты за сегодня все равно в плюсе.
Ну,
Yeah, and it's
Crazy
a bad
Time
sign
все
again
поправит.
for Karmine Corp when the map that you're choosing just doesn't seem to go your way. I think that's the main problem for them at the moment is they don't have a home map.
Не ссыте,
They don't have
кайф
a map
набивает.
where they can feel comfortable and feel strong, so they're still having to experiment
Свобода
across
лить.
their map pool. Obviously, they have to split a few
А чё?
times. The
Да
first
похуй,
time they
на
played it, I
релакс
want to say,
начали.
it did look decent. They
Нет?
had a lot of good ideas. The next 2
Они
times,
очень плохо играют.
Поймай чил и поставь. Зато представь, как много выиграешь. Ну, а вдруг свершится?
But it's one that they like going into time and time again. I've got it down as their most preferred map overall. Sure, the success rate on it clearly not so great, but I think at some point you've got to say, you know what, I admire the courage to lose a map 3 times and still be willing to go into it and play it. If they were that terrified of losing it again, they could have looked to ban it out here, because that's also
Представь, в один день случится 2 чуда.
I guess that's the thing though, is like it's the lesser of
Клетка
evils.
вернется и
It's
крыс
the
тайм
map
даст.
that you're
Нормально.
picking, and instead, like, once
И
you
вот тебе
really
ставку,
practice
знаете, сколько продать? За 500 рублей.
going in against a team you know
Я бы тоже так даже за 100 рублей дал бы.
Now, pause for KC. But as we've said, this is a map that in the
Да,
past,
на
and
чуть просто,
even
блядь,
still at times,
напахавать.
can be incredibly defense-sided. I still think
Все
it'd be
странно, что
optimistic
тебе
to
дают
say
вообще
that KC
продать.
can turn
В
this
целом,
around,
когда вот
but
такой
getting
вынос
an extra
идет,
round,
наоборот,
getting them
типа буки
a little
жадничают
bit more
и
a pistol win,
говорят,
and who
типа,
knows,
давай,
maybe
бро.
this can turn on its head. I don't mind them taking a pause here. I think it's not a bad scenario to just go, okay, let's try
А
and
прикинь,
grind this
500
one out,
на
get
десятку, Лёх.
things rolling a little bit. Well, maybe shut down some of the players on the other side, because 15 and 4.
Я так тоже Патрика оставил, верил.
He's been playing, well, not like Destrian, I guess I would say, because he's normally very passive, calm, collected, setting up util for other teammates. I think they've had that realization of, we can win this. How many Odins have they bought in this round? There's 2 and then 1 on the floor.
And the up on side as well, so it's far from.
Ну, напомню, это есть что, еще команд скрима карту пикнул. Так, есть что.
Why not? He's literally being able to cycle through 3
Спокойся,
different
сейчас
weapons
будет,
here.
смотри.
Sinisho wants them.
Ебать, у него там уже оружейный магазин, блядь.
I think it could bite them. If they somehow manage to kill a
Да, они уже на
it's
фул
gonna be a huge
дисреспекте
upgrade
играют.
of weaponry.
Да, поехал.
Просто 2 пулемета купил.
They're gonna hit the reload. It's not being watched. Free kill for
Пошел
He's
камбэк,
actually
нахуй,
gonna
кто
double.
пиздел.
Finally waking up a little bit. Spike taken onto the site. Now he's
Скрим говорит, я чувствую, they talk about my one taps.
for a rotation to come in before going for the plant. But they will get into an A site after plant position. One of the best spots we've seen KC in.
Made so much room there.
Пошел Камыч, пошел Камыч.
Completely breaking the A site wide
Камыч
open.
так
And
уже
now
есть.
has the ultimate online too. I think it's him versus Twisted up on the high ground that might be the problem. And this Killjoy, so well placed, it's going to force these players either back in towards Wine or out down A main, and that's exactly what Vitality wanted. They know they're going to have a couple of players in Wine. This could be very, very dangerous on the retake.
Yeah, already getting it to half. In fact, no,
И чё,
they're just
всё?
taking it all the way.
Вы чё, ебаны?
No, they're just going to defuse right in front of their eyes. It goes from bad to worse for the side of Karmine Corp. A 10-2 half. I'm sure there might be a man standing at the end, but that means absolutely nothing.
Блядь, а там чё, XMS-ики уснул? Бля, нет, это очень плохо. Это даже, блядь, я ожидал, я когда ставил, ожидал такого, что, ну, их могут переехать, типа, блядь. Но не так же, блядь.
А чё за Камыч пошел-то? Бля, ебать, просто послаки жатки, блядь. Я первый раз такое вижу. 3-4 просто. На морозе.
Не, им надо нахуй даже матч не доигрывать, просто домой ехать. Бля, я хуй знает. Зачем еще больше позориться? Они во франшизе еще охуеть, блядь. Бля, я просто мужиков с ранги-то соберу, ну типа. Да я сам против них ставил, пацаны, просто я хотел. Не знаю, поставить меня.
And then when you finally do manage to get past that man or bypass him with smokes or utility, you run into this combo setup of an Omen and a KO. Like just basically popping different flashes in your face.
О, 4 на 3 играть нормально мужик.
And as the half went on, you could just see Vitality.
То есть в BBL вот таких чулов еще не могли обыграть. Ну типа. Я понял.
Там ставка читалась.
А, да?
BBL это BBL.
Просто раздавил на похуй.
An additional sentinel at times, and I have to feel like this is where the composition was built for Karmine Corp. My worry is I don't know if they have enough, and also the other side of things, there's a lot of execute presence that you can have when it comes to Vitality's composition. Like I'm not sitting here looking at like, oh, they gambled everything.
Ладно, сплит легчайше будет.
No, I think they can definitely pull this off on the attack as well.
Потом ты проснулся?
За их проще понять, блядь. Ну их пик говна еще, блядь. Ну ладно, посмотрим. За КТ у них жесткий пик, вот так просто в атаке я не знаю, что таким пиком делать.
Какая разница, какой у тебя пик? Главное, чтобы
As said, I think Viper definitely
Нормально, кулачки, все, они не обостренные. Поехали, Камыч.
Не, Скрим так говорит, пацаны, погнали, давайте сейчас парочку возьмем. Собр.
Ладно, да, вот так. Скрим сейчас 3 хедшота пистолет.
Ага. Смотри. Сразу камеру на Скрима, пожалуйста.
Смотри, он играет с диглом, все. Поехал, Вась, смотри, поехал.
Он миду так, миду никого.
Поехал, Вась. Первый разогревочный выстрел.
Ну, пока он просто в КТ съебал.
Нормально, пошел дэмэдж пока. Ну ладно. Ну ладно.
Это не шарики. Будь там шарики, вот если в миду, ну, шарики бы вбегали, там, блядь, ну просто все, за 1 секунду 5 голов.
Раз.
To try and isolate one of these jewels, this would be the big kill, but already getting tagged low. A headshot connected. A chance for free Devo. Oh, I didn't want to see that.
Ладно.
I'm still perplexed as to how on earth Twisted dashed over the wall in mid. And I'm sure there was a player around that spot. And he just runs spawn. Like he just runs spawn.
А чё тут за ньюзер, чё? Это вообще, он откуда пришел? Из пабга?
I don't know how a player
А это не американец?
Я вообще не ебу.
Ну, в Кейс похож не был, нет?
Hey, they're having a good time.
Не, реально, откуда он? Вот я не знаю, кто эти два чела вообще. Ньюзера и Шина.
Качать танки, блядь. Не похуй. Ни одной игры не скачаю, пока не играем в танки.
No, I think if you put
Давай,
on
Шина.
Viper screen, there's going to be the assumption that somebody could be in towards Y. I think if they don't check this, I'd be very surprised. And
Один молик кайф
he's going to have to try and escape, and they're just going to spam straight through. Not the greatest exit strategy in the world, but again, it's only pistols here. A good start though for Vitality managing to shut down that aggression.
I'd rather teams get creative in the...
Бля, они с пистолетами вот так стоят, вообще ебано. Один зиг, один А. Не, что это такое, блядь? Ну застакайте точку Б, А, похуй. Бля, вы сосете 11-2, и вы вот так стоите дефолтно. Как будто каждый батек даст по киллу точно. Что это хуйня, блядь?
And that's at least kind of one of the flanks shot out here, where Sender normally has been the man making those kind of plays.
Пошел камбэк. Закончился камбэк. Да, блядь, я не про Неверу-то говорю, Неверу я знаю, что за чел. Ньюзера.
Spike is down in a 1v3.
Yeah, they know exactly where he is. Smoke, he'll have to run wide through if he wants to try and make that play, and I don't think he has many other options. No real weaponry to play behind, and just hoping that somebody is playing directly off the back of the smoke. But Vitality have decided, let's just play passive. We don't need to take any risks. The turret will be the one facing, and Destrian, well, Destrian with a triple. I feel like I've said that at least like 8 times throughout this game so far.
18, 19 kills now on side, I think. He's just absolutely laughing. 21, sorry, he's pushed himself low with a couple.
How dare you?
I know, how dare I undercount his contributions to this game.
Бро, у меня хотя бы, ну знаешь, как на полуфлайн поставил, то хотя бы интрига была, а тут что-то... Интрига точка нет.
Ну, второй вин, ну как думаешь, бро, с такой игрой, ну типа... Я хуй знает. На чё расчет? Нахуй вообще на чё приехали? Они очень плохо играют. Прям, ну...
See, this is more of the Viper screen I was expecting to see. Like, deep control makes it a little bit more awkward and segmented to push into the site. As said, this is where I quite like having an initiator behind it, because you can sort of get yourself a little bit more information as to what's going on the other side. Nice shot. Twistin actually was the one with the spike, so definitely makes things a bit more awkward in this round for Vitality. But of course, this is a bonus, and Destrian again. This time he's the one backstabbing, although there is a secondary backstab, and of course it's Sender.
I know he's got some numbers on the board. I think Sat currently 3rd in the kill feed, but for me, it's really been his contributions. Again, the pressure that he's applied from the backside that has really kept KC on their heels, or at least, well, literally on their heels, quite literally falling over themselves to force forward or force back and find themselves getting cut off.
А сколько на 2-0 Витьков было?
Big team game coming out from Vitality, even though Destrian is the one currently sat at the top of the scoreboard.
Влад,
So
15,
find nothing here as well. Even sat in the bonus round, we've got, what, 4 full rifles on sides, so Vitality don't feel too beat up here about their chances. Scream finds one, but it's a spray through from Destrian. No one is stopping this man in this game. Sure enough, down goes the spike. XMS and Shin with it all to do.
And that's the thing, all they need to do is trade from here, but the flash is just perfect. The supportive
3K.
utility from Vitality is just different
А, он что делал, видишь, что
by an
клатч возьмет?
absurd margin.
Давай, бро.
Shin, he hasn't thrived on this Viper. I want to see him back on the initiator. Vitality are going to close this with ease. This was the map choice of Karmine Corp. They walk into it after not playing it this year.
Ну нет, тут все по делу.
13-2. If that's not a bad omen, I don't know what is.
Again, for me, so much of it though.
Чё?
Why fix what ain't broken? They've managed to storm their way into sight every single
Ну тут
round.
2-0 быстро, пацан, что ты смотреть? Даже засмотреть не хочется тут, ну, команда скримает вообще пиздец. Ну я, конечно, знал, что они плохо играют, но не настолько же.
I think XMS can even go back to main, pick up that third rifle, and it's just going to be the Karmine Corp save.
Not starting the way we would have hoped. Do we see an early timeout maybe coming in? Here they've still got some weapons on side. It's hardly going to be a strong, solid round coming out in the next. They've managed to keep 2 of their full shields up though as well, next to XMS and Shin.
I think that's the thing though, that's the problem. They did fall by behind those 3 guns. So they had some weaknesses. I think XMS started the round with a pistol, and then you had a shotgun.
Judge,
yeah, so you fully invested into this, and you got 0 kills. Again, and that was just basically, okay, we're going to do this aggressive play, we're going to fight one extremity of the map. I've got no problem with that. It's not a bad strat at all. But both players died for Bone Cold. The Sage, the lone Sage on one side of the map. Like, you need to be getting more out of those sort of plays. And, well, all he really did was, okay, I've thrown down a slow, and now it's just easy pickings. You could just see the confidence of these Vitality players, because he even gets tagged low there and goes, no, I'm not settling for 1. Come on.
Need to pick up a few more. It's Bone Cold up to 7-1. A little bit off the back of that 4K that we saw in the first round. But it's Destrian taking a back seat. And this is the thing, we spoke about Twiston a little bit on the last map, but even then he was 3rd down the leaderboard. I think it was Sender and Destrian that kind of pulled out ahead of him. So even when you unravel these first 1 or 2 players that are getting there's still even more waiting for you.
Надо запомнить.
I swear, like they every time they're pushing into his setup, they're going for these aggressive plays on the other side of the map. Sender's gonna go walking through, Showstopper in, Scream's done well, denial of some space, but he just got lost! He's not heard him from behind!
Не, все, я не хочу досмотреть. Go в Dark and Dark.
Shots are completely the wrong place there as well. Didn't realize the Rays had come through with such force and vitality.
Люди без наушников приехали, да
You can see the 3 players from KC all over towards A, expecting a hit there again, but they flipped it on its head.
It genuinely starts to make me wonder if XMS just believes that I've popped my nanoswarms, no one is coming this way anymore. Even when there's a Showstopper and Blast Spike going behind him, he was tunnel visioned in. Maybe expecting a teammate to try and kill off the push through, but that's just too easy. Like, it's so easy for them to just get those entry kills every single time, no matter where it seems that XMS is. And I will say, it does seem like he's...
Бля, какая приставка на Витьков была?
It's not just him, I think it's the whole team. It's not looking desirable.
Ну что-то хотел скрыва, не знаю, поверил.
Maybe a timeout coming in, because I feel at some point you got to put the brakes on and figure
Да не, бро, тут, блядь, ну по первой карточке было видно, что не.
Not having a full buy because they are force buying behind 3 guns. It was this now the 3rd time that they've saved 3 guns, but and I don't disagree with the idea, but this is it. Look, Nano Swarm popped. He goes through it. He's being shot by the turret. I don't think there could be much more information for XMS to have.
Типа похуй.
The turret normally is the go-to. It's the intel provider rather than looking for kills for you, but no real response coming in because admittedly it's hard. You've got Jet pushing you on one side. You've got the Rays coming in on the back. Who do you fight first? And the answer realistically there turned into none.
А, Скрим еще и
Again,
капитан?
it seems like he doesn't have a lot of support in these rounds. That's been one of the main issues. Like, I don't want to put it all on one man, but that's how this map works a lot of the time. You have your site anchor, you have someone whose goal is ultimately to stay alive. Like, you need to buy time for the rest of the team to go on these rotations. That's not been the case. They have pressured XMS pretty much every single time, and every single time he has gone down. So I feel like there needs to be a change in how they're playing.
Ну, это чел сбреют.
They go for more
Это
rotates.
чел первый на
That would be
бритву.
absolutely fine. Like, sit further back outside the site. You have that aggression on one side of the map. Give the chance to Scream, and I think it's New Zero normally pushing together. Maybe throw Navira into the mix, and then have XMS play passive. Because it can't just be that every round they go into one of the sites, they kill him, they plant, and the round is over, and the rest of the players have to save.
They have good ability to split the sides up as well, it feels, you know, with the Omen on side for one.
New Zero, блядь.
Alongside that Viper, but obviously it relies on the push coming into the side where the Viper utility has been deployed. And you mentioned it yourself earlier on when you're playing kind of that double controller setup, sometimes you can treat the second more towards being a sentinel. You have the ability to split them across different sides of the map, the Viper towards one, the Killjoy the other. And it looks like they're going for a similar thing again, where you can see the Killjoy out towards A and the Viper sat across on B, but Vitality are ready to come in and force again.
Yeah, they're just being direct. They just don't care about the utility on the other side. Scream, though, this time in position, but it's only going to be a one and done. They managed to get themselves the opener, and bear in mind, there are still weaknesses in the buy that is
Тут люди могут себе
Karmine
позволить, что хотят
Corp.
сделать.
Zero's just gone through. A little bit delayed on the push through the smoke, but at least they've got the trade back. And this time, they have actually denied the plant from coming through.
О, сейчас Сайфер-то грязь делает.
Round started as well, Thomas. Let's play for some retakes here. They got the 1-for-1 early on, and in the 4 versus 4, have managed to shove them back off site. But it looks like Vitality here are trying to play the double bait here, convinced that they're going to move over towards A, and that is exactly why you've got Sender. Not quite towards the right angle, though, as it's Shin pushing in behind him.
The main thing is going to be the turret. If the turret stays online, they get the info. The thing is, I don't know. I think they expected Sender to run into some sort of contact. So because of that, they're actually now going to go for the full rotation. Even throwing in a smoke on the other side of the map to try and bait players into the rotation.
And they've all fell for it.
I don't know if they have. Yeah, not yet. They almost did. They looked that way for a second, but even still, there's going to be space on that side. Now the realization will come through, but even still, this is one of the best scenarios the Karmine Corp have had so far.
I want to say they fell for it. It's the indecision that gets shown there in the middle of the round. You know, you've got two players hovering, one towards spawn, one up towards mid, and they're like, is it A, is it B? Where do we go from here? Shin finds one, going to go for a swing here onto Destrian. He's playing off the back of this too. Now wants to can go for the cross, to look in towards the sides itself, and has the right idea. They've got that numbers advantage. Is this the first time they find a round?
They're waiting with the nade, still holding this utility. Time ticking down, and that will at least buy them an extra couple of seconds. Shindo's doing well, holding onto this cross, not allowing them to get back in. If he could just deny this on his own. And Shin has awoken.
7-5, камбэк, третий забрали.
Karmine Corp their first round, and yeah. Okay, it still had its moments, it still had its possibilities to fall away, but we finally see a round where it's not just that all-out aggression. They do temper themselves that little bit, and that's enough to just fight some of these kills back.
And that, I think, is what we've seen missing. You know, we spoke about Navira and the op play back in the first map where he got a 4K. You see the number of multi-kills that we've seen stack up on so many different players as well on the side of Vitality. It's felt like, for the most part, KC simply haven't been at the races. But that round there, Shin especially, showing that it can be.
Да нет, камбэк вообще не верю, что гонить, они очень плохо смотрятся. Не тот случай.
Viper's Pit and an aggressive flash. Again, though, it's been these more direct A hits that have caused problems. They have just walked past Scream. He's got his showstopper, but will he expect this many players to have already gone past? The Boombot is to try and get them a little bit of info, and they do still have utility to try and deny the players up top.
They're going right in towards spawn as well, and here we go on the high hit in towards heaven. Marching on in, two players on the side. Oh, Scream's down! Just when he pulled the ult out as well. Big kill coming out from Twister. And dropping in from the skies comes Mulsey. A second in on towards XMS, and KC have crumbled here in round 7.
Я говорю, это такая пропасть скилля вот у людей, это
There's no
пиздец.
choice. Like, you're not getting this 3v5 done. They've got no ultimates. I can't blame them. Like, that's the thing. You isolate these saves and you go, are they making the right call here? Yes. But it just seems to be the entry duo of Twistin and Molsey are just filthy. They're doing so well to isolate Jules. The shot from Twistin onto Scream as well was just nasty. But then also you've got Molsey who just goes, okay, we've worked out where this last man is. I'm just going to style on him. And that's the crazy thing. Like, you look at the scoreboard right now for Vitality, they're not even getting that many kills. Like, it won't look that crazy considering this is a 6-1 scoreline, because most of the time they get 2 kills and then the round ends.
I mean, thinking about it, there's been, what, a few 3-man saves coming out from KC,
I think there's been 4. Well, there's been 3, because obviously this is only a 2-man save.
Doesn't quite count towards the overall count. And another
but
timeout coming in for
KC have 1 kill each.
Yeah, I mean, we got towards this point. I think it was on the last map. We were at 1 and 12 between the 2 players that sat at the bottom, so it wasn't good. That's just unfortunate on the timing as well. Right idea to pull it out, I think, but just did not expect that swing to come in from A main.
It's the duality of life, isn't it? You have ups and downs, and you can see that Salah's definitely on the up right now. It's finally going to be a pause. Something we mentioned already. Try and sort of stem the bleeding, but that's what this is. This is internal bleeding at this point. I don't know how they're actually going to stop this, because I don't think that Vitality are reinventing the wheel. Most of the time, they're just going for set executes as a team. Utility's been strong, but that's sort of the surprising thing is, again, they're running a comp that basically has 1 flash. That 1 flash is being utilized to just set up multi and twist end. They're getting the openers and the round ends. I have to feel like there needs to be more. Again, either play for those retakes, have aggression on one side, and then play for the retake and work as a team. Because right now, it is literally just, okay, if our site hold fails, we lose.
On the blue wall, looking a little bit blue.
Там КФ 20, да можно даже миллиард КФ дать.
Let's see then if after that other timeout comes through, if we can see things turned around.
Careful.
Maybe not quite. I mean, after the previous one, we did see at least something come on side, right? We did see them bounce back for the 1 round, but that's the problem. It's just the 1 round.
They're going A again. I wouldn't even be surprised if this is exactly the same execution. Now, I do like the XMS is just playing that a little bit more passive.
Бля, XMS одно время хорошо играл КС.
And it means that there's not going to be a free kill, at least. Like, I genuinely prefer them just trying to play this retake as a squad, rather than just every time playing it as a disadvantage.
I love how they're just playing Protect the President this game as well. Bone Cold's able to just stroll in once he's had the jet and the raise, the security guards, charge on 4, make sure everything is clear, and then in he strolls to merrily put down the plant. KC for yet another round here as well are forced in towards Garage. They keep on sending 2 players in, and then they're always forced to fight their way back through. Navira finds at least 1 back. It's a small reprieve though.
Он просто гранату в руках стоит и его стреляет, ну типа похуй. Он дальше стоит.
Navira has managed to get 1. Already looking to try and get onto the plant, hiding in the smoke. Navira might just have this kill for free, but they need to start getting on some form of defusal. The time just ticking away, and I think Navira's already had to make the call to just escape this one. Just that little bit too slow at getting anyone on the defusal and unable to clear out Heaven. I don't mind the change of strat, but unfortunately for them, it makes no difference.
Он же стреляет в воздух. Но он фул tilте уже сидит.
Change his strat, but others is exactly the same as before. As mentioned, you have the Sky and the Rays hard forcing into Garage every single round, and I think Vitality have got the read on.
Я говорю, что за чел Ньюзера, вот кроме шуток, где он играл до этого? Даже из какой игры он пришел, точно не с КС.
And it just feels like they found the answer and saying, well, look, if they want to force so hard into Garage,
ну или
let's just
там,
send
не
everyone
знаю.
towards A. And because it's such a passive hold coming in on towards this site, they literally have to march in for free and get the spike down time and time again.
Well, I'm not blown away by the fact that Vitality are currently set up outside of A.
Да реально, кто знает? Ну сейчас посмотрю.
There's 3 again going towards Garage. It's so hard to get the read. I get it. The 1 round that you rotate over towards A, you'll have them go towards B. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But Vitality just seems so happy.
Oh, the flash didn't get him.
A little bit of a march up towards mid as well. And sure, screen connects onto the kill to Destrian.
They know the Killjoys here. I think they're going to have a decent idea that Viper's here as well. It's definitely not ideal on the weaponry front. Both of these players only having pistols slowed them a little bit, made them vulnerable, but XMS is now stuck in the site and they know exactly where he is. The hopes will be to just try and get out of here. A nice shot at least though. Again, one of the better scenarios we've seen for KC. A 3v3. Oh, Scream's going to lead the charge back through.
Simply can do nothing about it as well. Sender's found himself with 3k in the round. Not wholly unexpected given KC were a little bit down on their money in this round and didn't come in with a full buy, but they're slowly starting to turn things back around.
А чё без замены?
For a 1v1. Same story.
Чё, минус Кайрон, вроде минус Кигер?
Continue the domination.
Yeah, it doesn't look like this.
Я не знаю, какой-то баг сделали после мажора, зачем Норберта кикнули, это же какая-то хуйня. Я, конечно, не знаю всех подводных камней там.
And again,
Но
like,
все
I can be a
равно
little bit more
смотрится очень
forgivable in
плохо.
this round because the players trying to defend on that side of the map only had themselves pistols. Looked like a slightly closer round at least, but if that's the sort of storyline we're
Но
selling,
не
we're
скажу,
very,
бля.
very
Я могу просто Норберту написать и спросить напрямую, и все.
If they get, no, this is the one, yeah. If there's a reason behind this, I promise. Now that XMS has got that ultimate online, I really want to see it get used. But the problem is, every single time he's based himself out towards B, the hitters
he's going back towards a retake spot, which is the right thing to do with a lockdown.
Кайф набили, что надо. Да не, это вообще избиение, это просто избиение, я не знаю. Это просто снос, нахуй, просто снос. Они очень плохо играют, я не знаю. Прям разные уровни команды, ну типа.
You've got every single ult you could need for a retake. Showstopper's going to be used instantly, and well, there goes the lockdown. See you later.
Они даже свою ульту не стали дефать.
It's an absolute bowl over again. All right, Shin. We've seen him have a 4K. Let's not even talk about that one.
Бля, это просто какой-то ранкет, я не знаю. Просто чилы с ранкета против команды играть 1-1. Ебать, куда я 3К задонил?
But that's the thing. I can't blame them for not protecting against a showstopper. Like,
Ну я ждал такого, но не настолько ужасной игры. Ну типа, что они проебут, я думаю, ну вам похуй. Ну не так же.
Malzy to try and actually get to it. Instead, you put it basically in a... He could have destroyed it from there. So I don't...
1-4 был, 2-0 все равно, охуеть.
And then, well, you see, they knew they were going to have to push that because they put the wall down afterwards. They literally waited until they destroyed the lockdown, then put the wall down. It's almost like Vitality expected that play.
Flash coming on 3 spots out 3.
Да не, ну я все равно сегодня в плюсе поставку. Ну типа, блядь, просто одну такую хотел сделать фановую. Ну, блядь, что-то не вообще, блядь, я смотрю, пизда.
But sight, by the looks of it, already been taken over by the members of Vitality. Plant going down once again from Bone Cold.
Yeah, and I think this is the first time, which is kind of mind-blowing considering this is round 11, but this is the first time that there's actually a low purchase for KC. So although they managed to actually hold on to Heaven Control, which hasn't happened,
Я просто не понимаю, как BBL их выиграть не могли.
It's the caution as well from
Shock.
Shin and Sender, holding so far back here, just protecting any bat fans coming on through, leaving the rest to focus entirely on towards spawn side. Screens is where the aggression was coming on through. They've got at least 1 kill coming in, but Sender, as mentioned, is doing a bit of work. He finds 3 for himself, but he was the one holding the flank. Now he's the one pulling off the flank. 3 fall down, 2 left standing. XMS at least gets 1. Now down to himself against 4. It's again going to go against them. It's 10-1 to Vitality. When does the slaughter end? Probably in about 3 rounds.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have to wait too long at this point. Like, this has been just destruction from start to finish. And I think that obviously when the initial plans coming into the season for Karmine Corp haven't worked, they've had to try and reinvent themselves in a week. And it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. Vitality have looked fantastic. I think it's going to be easy to sort of take away from their victory here, but they have just basically stepped on the throats of Karmine Corp, knowing where their weaknesses stand. They're going to go for an updraft to try and find a kill with this Blade Storm. Heaven is clear, so there's no one to be found. Only Shin playing from above.
Appreciate the attempt at the very least. This time around, 3 players stacked up a whole ton of utility in place. It has not stopped Vitality so far. I love seeing the way they've held this site as well. There is smoke in towards Heaven, then challenging in towards screens, and then making the push come through. They've just had all the answers time and time again. This time around, at least forced back slightly with Sender going down, but far from the end of the world as they're going to rotate off site here and make all of that utility
He waited on the flash. He waited so that it went off and didn't actually give any information. Still, though, it seems like New Zero is going to be checking this, not just giving it up for free, but it seems like they know he's there and a chance for Twiston to get that opener. First time, of course, we're seeing the operator actually on either side, so it definitely is a change, but whether it matters or not is a different thing altogether.
TP coming out there, or the ultimate, just to check if anyone was in garage, and with the answer being no, they're going to stick here on A.
Here.
Vitality with about 30 seconds to work with here. We've seen them kind of make a decision several times in this series between the 30 and 40 second mark, and sure enough, the players coming in. TPing towards backside, they know that now there is one there, but it's trying to find the others. They don't know about the Omen, that's a little bit too close. They get rid of one, and it feels like finally they force them back, but 2 kills come in.
Даже такое проебали.
No.
The clutch plays on the other side, spikes in the north spot, and Dastian.
Чел не может такого Омана убить. Не, все, и, бля, это бритва нахуй. Я видите, прям в турнире забил. Это вообще пиздец. То есть он видит ТП Омана и не может убить.
Two attempts on this map. Right now they're set at 1, and honestly, they might be lucky to get to 2.
I mean, realistically, Vitality, they look for the pistol. They walk away the winner there. They combo into the second. It's serious.
Нет такого чела, блядь. Я не помню такого кейса. Я не знаю, откуда чел, реально. У него какой-то другой ник был, я не знаю. Да у него даже по нику уже видно, бля, Ньюзера чел ставит все.
Morbid on the other side of things, because it's just firstly I feel like they've tried to bring the Viper in again. I think just the composition that's being run by Vitality, I don't think I've seen a single round where I can go, oh, that the Viper util helped them, because every single time they're just disrespecting it, pushing right through it. Again, it's a composition that has barely any flashes, so you go, okay, a Viper would actually be fairly good. You can't really pop yourself through. One paranoia, that's all it's taken. They're able to just get in almost for free, made it look very easy, and then Molzy and Twiston as this entry duo. Well, if you're someone who tells me that duelists aren't really helping out, we could do better with other agents, well, look at what this team are able to do. I think the Killjoy, again, I feel like they've just disrespected every single piece of utility. The nano swarms, they've just run through them. Exhibit A, and it's like there's no backup plan. Every single time they go through the utility that's being put down. And that's the main issue I've had, is you've invested into this utility, you put that on the line to be what wins you the game, and unfortunately, Vitality just don't give a shit.
Newzera has just not been present really for any of these rounds. I know you can look at the kill board and see he's 1 and 9 and go, yeah, of course he hasn't. It's more the utility, because I forget which game it was. My memory is terrible now past the age of 30, but looking back to a game we had a couple of days ago, we had a Jet who was constantly trying to
я там миллиард сак подряд уже выиграл. Хотел с этим сделать. Ну, блядь. Ладно, они проебали там как-то, не знаю, фотку. Это вообще пиздец. Это же до абсурда смешно, блядь. Ну вот этот мужик сидит, он же, блядь, думает, он же билеты смотрит домой.
It's a worry. Like, I think some of the rounds where they adapted to try and play retake looked better. Like, I'm not going to say they looked good, but they looked better.
I agree.
And I think that was an adaptation that just came a little bit too late. But yeah, the initial just like, okay, we're going to try and hold both sides of the map.
Это, там Невера брату говорит, блядь, это ты, Ньюзера позвал, блядь, ты заебал.
Time for Karmine Corp. And I'll be honest, I hope they're able to sort this in the coming weeks, but I have absolutely no faith that they're going to be able to turn this on the attacking side.
Oh, ye of little faith.
Yes. At 11-1, I think that's fair.
Well, they've got 2 rounds. That's the only margin that KC have got to play with here. We've seen teams having stronger performances this, lose out even with a 3 or 4 round, looks like, I guess, breathing space to play with. Starting their way in towards B, no real pace coming in to begin with, instead just opting for control of the orb and backing away.
I got the spike.
Yeah, passive hold. It's something that KC did with their previous comp. Slow rounds.
XMS что-то сильно в скилле просел. Говорю, раньше он хорошо играл, пацаны. Но, по крайней мере, ну, в КС он точно хорошо играл. Не знаю, как Валик я не видел. Но в КС он точно в то время очень хорошо играл. Не, одно время он прям хорошо играл.
And I can only imagine this is going to be a straight up retake. Sender's only goal, get 1 kill. That's the aim here. Get 1 kill off any sort of trip, and well, the trip's already been destroyed.
More they know, because off towards the left and off towards the right, enemies are everywhere.
Ебать, жестко его вырубил.
Chip finds 2, makes it 3rd as well.
Величайший камбэк.
Kind of hold you on to get things moving. We said, was it repeatable? It's taken a while, but it has come back in. Bonecore's got to do it now against 3.
I don't think he's going to be able to stop them getting their second round. That's something at least.
Через Валика, пацаны, камбэк пошел.
I have to say as well, going back to the beginning, talking about roles, I want to see Shin back on an initiator. I don't really care what it is, or even on a duelist. He definitely seems to be the man with the fragging power in this roster. They have won 2 rounds. One of them is this round, where he got a 3K. The other is the round he got a 4K.
Вдумайтесь, прикиньте, это камбэк. Ну, так, прикиньте. Мне кажется, его сложно писать. Не, ну, блядь. Ну, прикиньте наши ебальники. Ну, я сам сложно такое поверить, блядь. Даже, блядь, Доктор Стрэндж бы не справился.
it's got to come from more players than just the one. It's got to come down to the strategy as well. And that was a nice slow round up through mid that clearly Vitality didn't expect.
Они очень плохо играют, я не знаю.
Once in that entire first half.
Я на скримам по фану. Я немного поставил.
Yeah, of course. Vitality at lock-in were known for their second rounds. These pistols were ever deadly, so something you have to be careful about. Nice shots from XMS. Maybe starting to wake up a little bit on this attack side. I feel like he was dealt a harsh hand when it came to the first half, having to be that solo defender in most cases and being isolated by a very fast-paced double duelist. But now, he'll probably still be playing solo in a lot of rounds, but more chances for him to try and find that space.
The raise stayed up and towards heaven. Trying to force the Cypher away, and sure enough, runs straight back into the especially for a few seconds. Shin, after we just piled so much praise on him, almost whiffs out big time, but Twiston, last left alive, and I think Vitality know that it's got to come in this next round.
Вот даже на релоде мужика его купить. Ну это камбэк, пацаны.
Have already exited in the other direction. And Navira is going to keep that one nice and squeaky clean. Now, already, a couple of rifles, XMS, I will expect him to buy up another one as well. Like, you cannot play this as a traditional bonus round just because of how many rounds you have left to play with. But this is definitely going to be where the going gets a bit tougher, as rifles will now be up for Vitality as well.
It kind of makes you think back to our game from yesterday, Fnatic against Liquid. You know, we saw absolute domination from Fnatic in the first half of Lotus. And then to be fair to Liquid, we even said, okay, you got 6 rounds on the board, you bounced back a little bit, you put up a fight and showed that actually it wasn't completely down to the team mismatch, that it was just that Fnatic were that little bit better. Well, a little bit, maybe quite by some margin. It's probably the bit of
Чё, они сейчас с диглами играют?
something about them. I think for KC, if
А нахуя они Верс скаутом играют? Ну, блядь, возьми калаш, мужик, ты чё, вообще больной? И не Зера еще тоже с фармилкой. Люди бонус играют, вообще ёбнутые. 11-3 счет, но держу в курсе. Ну так. Ну, типа так. Низер такой, да я и так ёбар, в принципе, со спектром побегаю. Люди бонус на 11-3 играют, бля. Это не, кикайте, кикайте. Это невозможно смотреть.
They are slowly taking themselves some mid control. However, there are rotations coming in thick and fast in towards this B site.
There we go, playing on the flash as well, straight in towards deep side as well. We didn't know about the one up close as well. The omen that I'm worried about for a few seconds, it's Destrin up close and he cannot win out the first fight. Scream finds his man, they're on the side as well. Down goes the spike, and once again, KC are in a numbers advantage.
Скрин, пацаны, и решаешь камбэк. 127 все словил, блядь.
Flashes going out as well. Now they are all somewhat isolated into this corner. It gives some opportunities for spams to come through, the counters being attempted, and Twiston just watching, waiting to see if anybody attempts to play outside of the pit. Instead, they are all somewhat trapped in towards this corner. It might just be an attempt to lock them in towards the end, but instead, the double swing out works wonderfully. And now Sender, last man standing, probably not going to help him out too much. And again, he might just want to try and kill them all off.
Flash comes out as well.
Вот он, Ю, Зера. Я говорю Ю, вы говорите Зера, Ю, Зера, Ю, Зера.
No, I like the split in towards the B site. The pace of it was good as well, decent trading. And obviously, I am actually quite happy they just used the Viper's Pit to confirm the round. Like, that was the main thing. Like,
один крик на Ю, миллион ответит Зера.
Which again, it's been a quieter game from him so far. If he can come online, maybe there's a difference. But we have been waiting for that over the last few weeks.
All right.
Я не знаю, кто на 27 кайф залил, походу, новый дом все в Майами покупает. Есть такие?
Coming out with shorties, sheriffs, you name it. It's great to start things off and taking a little bit out of the Vitality playbook here on a booster in towards site. They've rapidly got themselves on A here and are looking to march on in and get this fight down early.
Yeah, not really expecting much from this point onwards. Operator up, Scream just farming up those frags. Already got the showstopper online for the next round. And he definitely seems to be.
Это реально нужно, говорю. Некоторые до сих пор даже не поняли, что это камбэк. Думают, фейк камбэк. Я тоже не понимаю таких людей. А есть ставки на Виталики не продали, пиздец, вот боты. Пиздец, блядь.
Actually, you know what? Vitality 4 rounds lost in a row, they're going to take a pause. I don't mind this at all.
No. I think at this point, it's less even about things going horrifically wrong. They're losing out a good few gunfights that arguably they can win. And I think about when we look down to the Omen playing on the A side. When we had the Sky Flash go over the top, didn't connect onto the players, still Destrian whiffed a couple of key shots that maybe would have found a kill and made things a little bit easy for Vitality. For me, it's about breaking that momentum, though, taking the pause and just getting Scream 45 seconds off.
Yeah, I definitely think players like Scream, for example, I think Shin falls into that bracket. They're definitely, once they get rolling, they're very difficult to stop.
Absolutely.
They've got some talent. There's no doubt about it. It just hasn't been showcased so much over the last few weeks. So I think just denying that early, of course, the driver's seat still firmly sat with the cheeks of Vitality, but they're now just going to take a moment. Of course, this is where you're actually going to see the operator come in for Twiston as well. We saw how much of a game changer that was when it came to Ascent, how dominant he was in a lot of those early duels.
It kind of broke apart when the B and the I started clapping.
Look, we don't criticize. I'm not able to build a Vitality out of letters, all right? So
Because you can't spell, Tom.
That's true. Vitly.
You mold instead.
Vitly, yeah.
Vitly. In that case, it was just Tally, I think. And the rounds have tallied up for KC.
They talk about my one
A
taps.
little bit of change coming in, though. KC going to be on their guard, no doubt.
Ну все, не Гера их взял, молитвенники.
Slow start here, 3 up towards B, 2 out towards A, just feeling out any craziness from Vitality. I believe it was Minnie who mentioned this as well, that sometimes you just got to say, look, you're going to see some weirdness come out in this next round. They've had the timeout. Take it slow, feel them out, and respond to what they bring.
An audacious angle from Twiston. And he is spot on where they're going.
Байон стоит
In a
мерзко.
little bit of trouble. Showstopper is available for Scream. Now, bear in mind, I won't forget him picking him out of the air the last time he tried to pop this. And I can only assume there's going to be some form of utility coming around the other side, maybe just to try and bait that shot out and allow Scream to take that control.
Я не знаю, пацаны, вы еще ставку не продали? Вы лохи, походу, да. Стойте. Стойте. Бля, я просто ваш ебалик, что, смотри, если это реально КВК, я сам охуею, клянусь. Я просто охуею, я просто завалю ебалик навсегда.
And gets the response. It's op versus op, it's 2 versus 3. They're going to find one for themselves. A swing comes in, and it's literal trades back and forth. XMS has got a hold. Dashes in. What are you doing, my man? Gets just out of it and swings in.
Я просто завалю ебал навсегда, свой, клянусь.
Puts him in the dirt, and they hold on, bringing us up to 6 and keeping that post-timeout win going.
I'm curious if that was what he meant to do.
I don't think so.
It was such a bold attempt.
That looked like a man in panic.
Я охуею с этого камбэк. Я просто завалю ебалик. Я буду все матчи против Виталити ставить. Все вообще. Против Стива и Виталити просто все ставки будут.
Again, just Shin finding that opening pick and then just trading out from there onwards.
Кстати, реально, можно ставку продать?
Definitely.
Да, за 500 рублей могу. Да пох. Я изначально по фану ставил на этот матч. Ну, не питал иллюзий прям сильно.
An operator in one round to a Bucky in the next, but he does have a Blade Storm behind it.
That's exactly it, right?
It definitely seems a bit madness, but he is one of the maestros of the shotgun, so he rates it highly.
Вера, знаете, пути неисповедимы, там вы поняли.
Look at the ultimates that are available right now. Having that Blade Storm and Showstopper one off a res as well, they are definitely.
Ну я 3000 поставил. Это камбэк, мужики. Вы еще не поняли? Я не пойму.
Warmed into it these last 5 rounds, really starting to feel himself. Instead of being offline, maybe not the ultimate you're looking at to say that's the big impact here, really.
Бля, я просто ваш ебал. Я хочу, чтобы они закомбэчили. Мне это похуй на ставку, да, это реально похуй. Я просто хочу на ваш ебал посмотреть. Если бы я такое, думаю, если бы я поставил на Виталити good камбэк, я бы просто, я не знаю. Я не знаю даже, что бы я сделал, блядь. Я бы никак в жизни больше не поставил ни на что.
Heaven not really being covered at the moment, but Twiston's going to try and thread that needle. Showstopper still available if they want it. And in fact, maybe expecting that this is a stack. Destrian is going to be hearing everything has the paranoia available and could cause them some serious issues. They're not checking this angle right now. It should be. Oh, no. Roman strikes again.
Unexpected позиция. Кстати, да. Когда на стягиваешься, в принципе, не ждешь эту позицию. Unexpected, блядь. Ну, самый дефолт, где стоит чел, как соло остается. Ну, типа...
Also, Dash on the other side, looking to somewhat pin through, and they'll realise that they've got the Viper hanging at the bottom. Are they going to bother trying to go for this? It feels good to get rid of the op. Small sees to fall down. They hold on at least for now. There's the second one, and now the op's gone.
Yeah, they removed all of the weaponry. I don't think it's going to impact too much for Karmine Corp. They got plenty.
Ну, чел на центре дробаш берет, говорит.
6 in a row anyway, so it's not like they're going to get reset at any point in terms of those financial constraints. Just good work though, good initial read, Twiston doing well off the back of it, and then just the patience. This is the thing I love about Deathstream. So
они дали туда молик, зря-то смотрит.
Not rotating back, completely isolated, and he gets both the frags needed of him. Easy pickings in the end, and now just one needed from Vitality. What seemed inevitable in the first half, and a slight fake comeback it seems. 6 more in a row needed. Oh, that's not gone to plan for Scream. He is just about alive.
Low.
Potentially almost 4. That for all intents and purposes would make this into a 6 versus 5.
Бля, дайте камбэк, это будет такая легендарная хуйня, я просто в голосил буду орать. Мне похуй, мог даже третий проебать, но я просто в голосил орать.
They have to make this work for 6 rounds in a row.
Oh, Moz is going to peek as they're spamming the wall, but Nuzera.
Я в голосил буду орать.
From XMS, catching them on this aggression, bone cold. If he can get this kill, he actually has the res, brings it back into that 4v4 scenario. Still back as well. That's a bigger problem. And again.
Бля, я как будто бегаю, клянусь.
It always seems to catch them with their pants down. And they now might know that there's a player still lurking around.
I think it was such a good shout as well. Screaming Nuzera really wanted to get the pinch onto Garage and force the defenders to the other side of the map, but there was the backstab coming in. A little bit of an overcommit, and it might just prove to be absolutely fatal.
He's having to go the long way. They were watching and would have caught the man with the spike. 20 seconds left as they look to make the move and just almost give it to him as a freebie. It's left to Navera trying to clutch this out. 1 versus 4, shot missed, and it's game over. Vitality, just like many before them, run through Karmine Corp. And although again there was some false hope going into that second half, it is a bleak, bleak day for Karmine Corp fans.
As so many have proven to be, unfortunately. I mean, for me, we saw KC starting to bounce back into it. We saw some good rounds. The focus, the determination to hit site hard and fast and leave Vitality reeling really paid off. But in that last round there especially, just a little bit of an overcommit, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I think.
Ну заслуженно, не знаю, команда скримая вообще смотрится.
Like it didn't seem like they had just a good hold over either of the sides. The aggression never seemed to catch anyone on the Vitality side, and the actual sort of strength of Vitality was just getting openers time and time again. It was so clean from them.
It's one of those I'm thinking now. What is next? They're coming up against some big teams. They've come up against some not so big teams.
Залазь, можно.
Yeah,
I mean, this is the thing. They've tried different comps. They've tried to mix things up here.
Он серьезно лагает. Именно когда на кровать просится.
At this point, they're paying good money to give them the answer.
I think that's the $1 million question for them. Honestly, I think that firstly, like getting back to the point where they
может ему нравится, кстати, я не знаю.
Obviously, we're gonna see mostly the highlights.
Не, мне кажется, ему просто нравится, кстати. Он вообще послушать, как раз он понимает все.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think.
Мне кажется, просто ему нравится стоять. Ну, типа голову кладет.
I don't think it's a bad idea. I'd like to see Shin back over to an initiator. I don't think the double controller is really working out for them. I also don't really see the value of
можно, иди.
I don't think it makes sense when it basically relies on that second controller too much. I'd like to see again Nuzera back into a more supportive role and then give a bit more freedom to Shin. I think he's a talented individual. I'll be honest though, today I don't think it mattered when it came down to compositions. I think they just got this Vitality roster is one to sing and dance about. They've got fantastic support players, ones that can even carry you through a map in the form of Destrian. Even with minute amounts of utility, they cause so many issues to every single hold, especially when it came down to this map. Again, I find myself thoroughly impressed with the way this team sets up. And of course, yeah, sure, it's easy to sit there.
Я хуй знает. Так, Киря... давай. Ну, скинь, что там кидал? Что там пикаешь? Иди сюда. Хвост за нос схватил. Хвост за нос схватил. Тот пес такой. Нормально себя чувствуешь? Ты, началось. Папа. Папа. Плутон? Плутошка? Сейчас я тебя... Дубина. 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 Давай кину. Отдай. Чё? Я вот эту хуйню показал. Бля, это вообще кричишь. Зависим вот откуда вот это вот. Когда там вот так кулаками делают. Я раньше заштуцевал этот тиктоник, всю хуйню, электро дэнс, типа. Я раньше тут прям пиздец задрачивал. И я им это показал, они ставили. Я просто в ха-ха был, блядь. И смотрите. Вот сейчас, вот смотрите. Просто когда ты в соло ты делаешь, там, ну, типа, там... Ты батлишь там 1-1, это что там как-то или где-то дэнсишь, прикольно смотрится. А так это вообще кринж, блядь. Они еще так хуёво это делают. Бля. Бля, тут немножко не получилось, тут должен был быть велосипед. Да я могу показать, где это, блядь. На самом деле, я не знаю, нас по телеку показывали даже, и я не могу найти это, приколите, ни одной записи в нормальном качестве. Я не знаю почему. Там куча у кого это было, и я не знаю, ну типа, я в то время не особо заморачивался, мне похуй было. А потом вообще не мог найти. Поняли? Ну там нас дохуя должны танцевать, это мы просто так танцевали, блядь, типа показательное выступление. Мы типа судьи были, а это показательное выступление. Это все сидят девчонки, есть что. Это универ девчонок, педагогический. И вот у них батлы проходят, поняли? И мы типа такие, блядь. Это кринж, конечно, блядь. Я же раньше, ну, заднюю делал с места почти. И... Короче, вот тут я пчела заднюю делаю. Ну, как это должно выглядеть, я покажу сейчас вот.
Танец, команда.
Кстати, тут вы Светин голос можете услышать. Это она тут кричала. Вот она ищет. Запись охуенная, просто, блядь, на Сименс, блядь, я не знаю.
Смерть!
Ну, кажется, я говорю, я не знаю, где найти, бля. Это, если чего, это в Лужниках мы танцуем. Я хуй знаю, там камеры, это, ну, типа, камеры стояли. Еле все такое. Но видите, там нас дохуя танцуют. Но это так должно выглядеть. И я тут задним буду ебашить. Но я тут не с места задним буду ебашить, а я буду разбегаться, и я пчела его делать. Типа, он просто вот так руки ставил, и я как бы об него толкая, сделал заднее, чтобы выше упрыгивать. Но мне трек точно нравится, пиздец. Он такой ебейший, блин. Ну, так это Лужниках. Ну, хоряга, конечно, гривну. Хоряга за гривну. Но когда вот на столе танцует, прикольно смотрится. Но все равно такая супер простая. Просто, блин, там люди даже такой не могут ходить. Бля, конечно, я ебал. Бля, вот этот момент мне нравится. Вот, ну из-за того, что такой засвет жесткий, бля, вот эта фишка на самом деле мне пиздец нравилась, круто. Короче, там собирался велик из 4 челов, поняли? Типа один руль, он встает на колени, вот так делает, типа, блядь, короче, как руль делает. Один так ложится на спину и делает вот так руки, типа педали. Короче, получается полноценный велик. Из 3 людей велик, и один садится вот так сверху, типа едет. Вот. И вот, а он типа убегал от великов. И на прошлом видосе там велик зафейлили. Ну тут не видно нихуя вообще. А сальтуха вот будет. Я не знаю, почему, ну, мы так сзади сделали. Бля, а тут велик просто так был, что... Вот этот чел врежется в жопу этому, и мы просто упадут. Светшего аварию, да. Вот, смотрите, он просто врезался в жопу. И я им пока... Вот так должен велик выглядеть. Вот, видите, вот. Ну, вот так, типа, вот так чел. Так лежит, он, типа, педали. Это чел руль, а это чел, ну, как седло. Типа рама. А я еду, типа. Только из-за того, что он врезался головой в жопу, он вот так встает, смотрите, он встанет и начинает фониться, блядь. Он начинает фонить, смотри, он вот так вскочил, он просто меня скидывает. Я вообще в ахуе на него смотрю, думаю, ты что, вообще мудак? Он просто скочил, такой...